Prologue. Start of the Uzumaki clan. Thousands of years ago, Kaguya Otsutsuki gave birth to 3 children. The names of her children were Hagoromo, Hamura, and Koto. Koto was the youngest child who held similar characteristics to her mother, but instead of horns she has black rabbit ear on her head touching her back. She had 2 dojutsus in her eyes, the Rinna Sharingan in her right eye and the Byakugan in her left eye. In addition, Koto was considered to be a genius within her family. Later on in her life, she founded a new style called Fuinjutsu. Even though Koto was considered a genius, she was different from the rest of her family in many ways, like choosing to wear revealing clothing, being obsessed with the food called ramen, and always wielding a fan called Bashozen that originally belonged to Hagoromo. Overall, she was the oddball within her family. After defeating and sealing Kaguya away, Hagoromo, Hamura, and Koto went on separate paths where all 3 of them will greatly influence the world in different ways. Koto's appearance and youth remain the same, as she had accidentally absorbed a portion of Ten-Tail's chakra into herself, and this along with the power of Rinna Sharingan made her immortal. Many years after Kaguya's defeat, Koto had stumbled upon an island called the Land of Whirlpools located close to Land of Fire. On the island, she discovered there were people living there in peace as the place is unharmed by war from the mainland. She decided to live here in peace as she transformed herself into Black Rabbit to avoid being seen and enjoy the island's beauty. During her stay, she observed a red-haired hermit monk named Mayo who stayed alone in the shrine. Mayo was a 20-year-old young man and a master of calligraphy, making his art worldwide famous. But instead of taking advantage of his fame, he isolated himself in the mountain to avoid fans, wealthy merchant, and nobles. As she continued to observe Mayo from the shadow for many months, she fell in love with Mayo as he worked on his calligraphy, allowing her to look deep into his heart, showing kindness, determination, and devotion. One day, she made her presence known to Mayo and revealed her true form. After Koto and Mayo officially met, they would later marry and have a son named Haruki Uzumaki, starting Koto's descendant, the Uzumaki clan. Warring State Period. 500 years later. Warring State Period is long and bloody history as different clans appeared, becoming mercenary ninja forces as they fought for land, wealth, recognition, power, protect their clans, and eradicate their enemies. During that period, it was very common for old to bury the young from post-battle. Truly many clans, including Uchiha and Senju, who were descended from Hagoromo, had forgotten the sage's teaching. For Uzumaki clan, they are properly guided by Lady Koto herself, as she became the only clan elder commanding the clan from the shadow. The Uzumaki are famous for their longevity, strong chakra, sensor ability, kenjutsu, and fuinjutsu, making them force to be reckoned with. The Land of Whirlpools is home to Uzumaki clan and was very well hidden from outsiders, as Koto had developed a special fuinjutsu that allowed hazardous whirlpools to be enlarged, increasing the island's defense and making island invisible, so that no outsiders would ever discover this rich and self-sustaining land. Truly, Koto's fuinjutsus are masterpiece. The people of Land of Whirlpools worship Koto like goddess, and they will do anything to protect her, which she didn't need their protection from her godlike abilities. Throughout this period, as different clans fought each other, Uzumaki clan had focused on improving their technology, culture, and military. Sometimes Lady Koto will disappear and come back, bringing new things to the clan. When someone asked her where she went, she would only reply with small smile on her face and say, "Secret." Each clan has sacred treasures like Uchiha clan's stone tablet and gunbai, Senju clan's necklace, Hatake clan's white light chakra saber, and many more. For Uzumaki, they have treasures beyond what other clan has, such as Shinigami mask, 6 paths sacred treasures, except Kahaku no Johei, Uzumaki scroll of sealing, Murasame, Yatsufusa, and many more. The Uzumaki treasures are kept safe and hidden to avoid theft. Only Koto herself knows where the treasures are. Uzumaki had special forces called Whirl, who are best of the best as they are trained from early age, making them extremely dangerous and difficult to kill. Whirl only takes order from Uzumaki clan leader and Lady Koto. They consist of wearing Hanya mask, black clothing, and black armor, completely hiding their presence in darkness. One day, Lady Koto had ordered Whirl to purchase southern part of Land of Hot Water from Hot Water Daimyo for her upcoming plan. Getting that land was easy, as the clan only need to pay money, eliminate bandits/Jashin followers, and complete few other missions. After doing all of that, Uzumaki clan owned the southern land of hot water, making everyone believe that this land was the Uzumaki home base. A few years later, Uzumaki fame and power had spread throughout the continent like wildfire. However, their presence caught attention from other clans like Senju and Uchiha. Still, they ignored them for now. Kodo created special seals like one seal to avoid Uzumaki clan member and allies to be captured, interrogated, or turned traitor. The seal allows the user's body to be completely disintegrate so nobody will be able to study or steal them. Kodo is a very careful and vigilant woman. Other seals she created were training purposes, island defense, and etc. that helped the clan. 4 years later, Butsuma Senju, head of Senju clan, and Taijima Uchiha, head of Uchiha clan, send their messengers to southern land of hot water to confront Uzumaki clan for military alliance to change the tide of ancient Senju-Uchiha war. However, the message they got back were negative because the Uzumaki clan didn't want to get involved in their problems and would remain neutral as long they don't antagonize them. Seeing the Uzumaki weren't taking part of any alliance, Senju clan left Uzumaki alone, but stayed vigilant towards them. However, Uchiha clan didn't like the response they received and saw this as a threat for Uchiha in the future. So Uchiha decided to cripple or eliminate Uzumaki clan ASAP by sending 1,000 of their best ninjas, believing they can easily defeat Uzumaki clan. Starting Uzumaki-Uchiha war, they were wrong. The result of Uzumaki-Uchiha war came out with the Uzumaki clan as the victor for multiple reasons. First is that Uzumaki are quite knowledgeable on Uchiha fighting styles and their Sharingan. Second, Uzumaki already predicted Uchiha to attack them based on their arrogance and quick temper from history. Third, Uzunins set up Fuinjutsu traps, making it very difficult for enemies to discover the traps. The Fuinjutsu traps have wide varieties such as explosion, flashbang, paralysis, barrier, and many more. Fourth, Uzunins are familiar with their land, making it easy for them where to hide and strike. Lastly, Uzunins have technology they invented called wireless radio, easily receiving new update and reducing time. Overall, the war lasted only 1 week, making this the shortest war in history. Only 50 Uzunins and 1,000 Uchiha nins died from this war. To add additional salt to Uchiha's pride, Uzunins plucked out 1,500 undamaged Sharingan eyes from Uchiha corpses, pissing off the Uchiha. When this news spread throughout the land, many were shocked to discover Uzumaki forces decimating Uchiha elite ninjas quickly. This caused many clans to be wary toward Uzumaki clan, while some clans see them as potential ally. For Senju clan, they were gleeful hearing their rival/enemy forces to lose. The Uchiha clan were extremely angry they lost and wanted to attack again to regain their pride. Taijima Uchiha ordered his clan members to stop their attack on Uzumaki, not wanting to push Uzumaki to ally with Senju against them. After that short war, Uzumaki was left alone in peace for a number of years. During those peaceful time, Uzumaki helped other clans like Yuki, Rinha, Tenro, and Nadeshiko with their problems. Later, those clans were welcomed to Land of Whirlpool by Lady Kodo's permission, treating them as friends and comrades, deepening their alliance. 20 years later, Uzumaki clan received interesting report about a big battle between Senju and Uchiha clan as both sides lose many of their clan members. After that battle, Hashirama Senju, leader of Senju clan, and Madara Uchiha, leader of Uchiha clan, called for armistice. Few weeks later, Uzumaki received message for them to act as mediator between Senju and Uchiha at their home base. The Yuzu Council scoffed reading the message, and it was clear that Senju and Uchiha wanted to see their home base and military power. But they couldn't refuse this because it will ruin their image and they can gather information on both clan leaders. So the meeting took place at southern land of hot water, and it would be stupid to reveal their real home to complete strangers. After successful negotiation between Senju and Uchiha at Uzumaki home base, many believed eternal peace between two clans, all except for Uzumaki and its allies, not completely believing centuries of bloody conflict can easily be solved by one simple negotiation. Creation of hidden village system 5 months later. 5 months later, Yuzushiogakure became the first village to emerge throughout the continent. Later Konoha emerged, followed by Sunagakure, Kirigakure, Iwagakure, Kumogakure, and other villages. Mito Uzumaki married to Hashirama. She made an oath not to reveal Uzumaki Fuinjutsu to outsiders, including her husband, and put disintegrate seal on her for just in case. After setting up hidden village system, Hashirama, first Hokage, invited other village leaders from Sunagakure, Kirigakure, Iwagakure, and Kumogakure, making this the first meeting called 5 Kage Summit at Land of Iron. Yuzu councils were surprised not being invited, but they had a spy giving them report. When Yuzu councils discovered what happened at Kage Summit meeting, the council, especially Lady Koto, are not happy what Hashirama promised to other village leaders. It was ridiculous and naive for Hashirama to capture and distribute tailed beasts to other villages just to bring balance of power between the villages and a sign of goodwill. And idiot mistake the young Senju had just made. 1 month later, Madara brought 9 tails under his control and challenged Hashirama at Valley of the End. The fight ended with Hashirama being the winner and Mito sealed 9 tails within her. First Shinobi World War 3 weeks later. Takigakure sent Kakuzu to assassinate Hashirama, but the assassination failed. Although tensions were high around the continent and it didn't take long until certain catalyst to set it off. That catalyst was the death of Hashirama, setting off First Shinobi World War. Many speculated Hashirama died from natural causes or assassination. For people who are very close to him, they know he died from broken heart, seeing his dream for peace shattered. Many different nations, villages, and clans had participated First Shinobi World War as they fought for land and power by sending wave after wave of their forces. For Uzushiogakure, they didn't participate on this ridiculous war, but kept their borders secured from any foreign invaders. After Hashirama's death, Tobirama Senju became second Hokage during First Shinobi World War. Later, second Hokage was killed by Kumogakure special team called Kinkaku Force, and before he died he selected Hiruzen Sarutobi as third Hokage. Few years later, 5 great nations called for armistice, ending the First Shinobi World War due to their military and economy being devastated. It didn't take long for Second Shinobi World War to start 20 years later. Second Shinobi World War 20 years later. Second Shinobi World War was caused by conflicts between Konohagakure, Sunagakure, Iwagakure, and Amigakure to expand their territories for resources. Majority of the fighting seems to have taken place in minor countries, leaving them devastated except for Amigakure. Hanzo of the Salamander, leader of Amigakure, led his forces to defend his village against the foreign invaders without any mercy. Before the war, Hanzo secretly visited his best/rival friend Katsuro Uzumaki, second Uzukage, at secret area to avoid possible spies. They first met long ago where both fought for many hours, resulting draw match, and became best friends. Basically, action speaks louder than words for people to earn Hanzo's respect and trust. The secret meeting was about secret alliance between Amigakure and Uzushiogakure. It didn't take too long for both sides to agree the alliance, as Uzushiogakure provide Amigakure with supplies and troops in secret. In return, Amigakure will help them in war and send them information from their spies spread throughout the continent, including all major villages. The Uzunines are stationed at northwest side of Amigakure, as Aimnines defend at southeast part of Amigakure. This strategy helped Aim forces not to spread out too thinly during the war. When invaders, mostly Konoha, Iwa, and Suna, used Amigakure as battlefield, they didn't expect Aim inhabitants to give them tough time like unknown forces at northwestern defeating Iwa and minor village forces with ease. Or Hanzo and his elite troops Poison Corps at southeastern against Konoha and Suna forces, increasing the number of casualties. The Poison Corps is an organization from Amigakure who specialize using different types of poison to kill their opponents quickly. Aim Special Force had caused countless number of death to both Konoha and Suna forces, focusing their attack/ambush on medic Nines, exhausted/injured ninjas, and resupply team. Hanzo's poison are wide range, making it very difficult for Konoha and Suna ninjas to avoid his deadly poison. There was a rumor that Hanzo has 3 apprentices, but nobody found any evidence to claim that rumor was true. One day, Yuzu councils received 3 urgent messages from Hanzo's spy. The first message was a warning that southern land of hot water will be invaded by multiple villages, including Konoha, to eliminate them. This news surprised Yuzu councils except Lady Koto, and it angered them. They sent Kushina Uzumaki to Konoha weeks ago for Mito to transfer Nine-Tail Fox within her. Konoha had betrayed them. The second message were the traitors' identities. They are Danzo Shimura, Hamura Mitokado, Koharu Udatane, the Hyuga elders, and Uchiha clan leader. They were the ones who provided secret message to other village leaders, spreading false information on Uzumaki village, riches, and bloodlines, which is technically true. The third message is that Konohanins will be close by during the invasion, so they can ransack the Uzumaki treasures, techniques, and bloodlines after eliminating remaining invading forces. So knowing their village, second base, is going to be attacked, they prepared for surprise invasion. Land of hot water 2 weeks later. The coalition forces consisted of Kirigakure, Iwagakure, Kimogakure, and minor villages totaling 48,000 ninjas, making it the largest invasion force in history. Close by there are 25,000 military reserve Konoha forces hiding and waiting for them to scoop up their prizes after everyone are exhausted. At Yuzu base, there are 6,000 elite Yuzunins prepared, as all of them are armed to the teeth to defend their base. Their main objective is to cause enough damage on their enemies until receiving retreat signal, and blow up their village to make everyone believe they are destroyed from this invasion so that other village can focus back killing each other to weaken them. Also, Yuzu forces had placed numerous amount of traps while they eliminate them quickly. It was the same plan used during Uzumaki Uchiha War with upgrade. For 25,000 Konoha forces that are close by, they will be dealt with 20,000 AIM forces led by Hanzo to deal enough damage to cripple or eliminate Konoha military strength. The AIM forces were eager to pay back Konoha for attacking their home. This battle will be known as Battle of Yuzu, that crippled 5 major villages for a long time. This battle quickly turned bloody as coalition forces had to endure guerrilla warfare like traps, ambushes, hit-and-run tactics, and many more. While Yuzu forces quickly eliminate their enemies, they were too many for them to handle, resulting them to be slowly pushed back to their base with some casualties. When the coalition forces reached to village, the remaining Yuzu forces already made their way back to Yuzushogakure and triggered explosion that caused additional casualties to coalition forces. After this battle was over, there were only 5,000 coalition forces and 2,000 Yuzu forces left. Meanwhile, the battle between AIM Konoha was brutal as Konoha forces suffered many deaths since they are ambushed and fighting against Hanzo. At the end, only 1,000 Konoha forces and 10,000 AIM forces survived. After that battle, it literally ended the Second Shinobi World War as Kiri, Kumo, Iwa, Konoha, and other minor village as they lost so many of their ninjas and without gaining anything. Back at Konoha, Kushina read her secret letter from back home and burned it, leaving without any evidence. Chapter 2, Return. Konoha 5 years after Nine Tails attack. A 5-year-old red-haired boy with cerulean blue eyes and 3 whisker marks on each of his cheeks was breathing hard as he was finally able to hide from the angry mob. His name is Naruto Uzumaki, who had been running away from the drunken mob that wants to kill him for an unknown reason. Finally, gasp, gasp. I need to get back. Gasp. The small crimson-haired boy said to himself, catching his breath. Earlier, Naruto asked the employees from the orphanage if he could go out to enjoy the festival celebrating the Kyuubi's death. Hearing his small request, the employees quickly allowed it, but he didn't realize their malicious intentions. Staying in the shadows, he quietly made his way towards the orphanage without being spotted. Scene break. Why'd they kicked me out? He cried quietly, hiding in the alley using a cardboard box as cover. An hour ago he was kicked out by the matron, telling him that a demon like him belong in the streets. After being kicked out, he was greeted by a drunken mob that was waiting for him, which led to another chase. During the chase, someone had thrown a bottle on his head, making him bleed. The blood was running down on his face and down to his neck, blurring his vision. But he continued to run from them until he tripped, allowing the drunken mob to beat him. In the middle of the beating, Naruto had bitten a person holding him and escaped into the alley, losing his pursuers. Tired and hurt, he fell asleep, wrapping himself with a worn-out blanket that he found in the garbage. Scene break. 2 figures appeared where Naruto was sleeping without waking him up. As moonlight illuminated the alley, the identity of these 2 figures were concealed by masks that identified them as Whirlnins who snuck inside Konoha during the festival. "Sir, we found the package and will meet you at the rendezvous point," Whirlnin whispered in the earpiece. The other Whirlnin picked up Naruto without waking him up and both disappeared into the shadow. Outskirt of Konoha 20 minutes later. 3 teams of Whirl arrived at the rendezvous point without being seen. One team carried a sleeping Naruto, the second team carried large scrolls on their backs, and the third team carried a comatose red-haired woman wearing a hospital gown. "Sir, we got everything including the 2 Uzumaki," Namikaze techniques, and the Forbidden Scroll, a male Whirlneen whispered to his superior. Good. Let's go before someone finds us. The leader of the Whirlneen ordered, getting everyone to nod their heads, and quietly disappeared, leaving no evidence of their presence. Yuzushio 4 days later. Inside the council chamber, the council members were discussing the mission report that happened 4 days ago. It's good to know the last mission came out as a success, Yukiko said in relief. Yukiko is a 23-years-old woman and head of the Yuki clan. Yukiko is considered to be one of the most beautiful women in the land of Whirlpool. She has long black hair going down to her lower back, brown eyes, and an elegant blue kimono framed her voluptuous figure. She has a humble, kind, and polite personality, but when threatened she will eliminate her enemy. The Yuki clan specialize ice release techniques, making them formidable ninja. The clan runs a famous onsen in the village located at the mountain, serving their best kaiseki and potato miso nabe that can put other onsen to shame. However, both Uzumaki are currently in the hospital. Naruto is suffering from malnourishment, physical abuse, and maybe psychological problems. For Kushina, she is in a comatose state, and based on reports she is under heavy dose of sleeping medication from what Konoha Medic Nin gave her. Also, nothing else seems to be wrong with her, and she will wake up by the end of this month. The good news is that both patients will make a full recovery with proper treatment. Malice said, reading from her medical report. Malice is a 27-years-old woman who is both the head of the Rinha clan and director of the Yuzu Hospital. She has medium black hair covering her right eyes, light yellow-orange eyes, and 2 silver hairpins tied on the back of her hair. She wears a black kimono with her clan symbol on its back. Malice is a cunning, intelligent, loyal, and tactically skilled woman. Her medical ninjutsu and other abilities are similar to Tsunade. The Rinha clan specialize in medical ninjutsu, making them act in a supporting role. The clan also own hospitals and small clinics. Do not forget, Kushina was a former Jinchuriki, and Naruto being the new Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tail, Enzo Red-Minded. Enzo is both the head of the Tenro clan and the chief of police, keeping Yuzu safe. Enzo is a large and bulky man wearing a gray sleeveless kimono shirt with a collar lining of dark blue fur. He is a loyal, serious, and calm man who will protect his precious people from any danger, even if it means sacrifice his own life. The retrieval team also gained both Namikaze and Konoha's Forbidden Scroll, meaning Konoha has lost their most valuable techniques. I want to know, how did the teams easily gotten those valuable scrolls? Tokiwa questioned. Tokiwa is the attendant of the current leader of the Nadeshiko clan, Shizuka. However, Shizuka is a young child, so she has to wait until she becomes an adult or reach Jonin rank to regain her clan head seat. Tokiwa is a calm and level-headed woman that will not jump to conclusions. She wears full body armor with her clan symbol on it and a katana on her back. Nadeshiko clan is a all-kunoichi ninja who only marry men that can defeat and respect them. The clan's compound is located on top of the hill, turning it into a small fortress, and they own many ninja shops. Hearing Tokiwa's question, everyone except Lady Kodo looked at the third Yuzukage for answers. The third Yuzukage is Hashimi Uzumaki, twin sister of Kushina Uzumaki. The only difference is that Kushina has purple eyes while Hashimi has green eyes. When Hashimi received a report from her spy, she quickly sent her best teams to retrieve her twin sister and her nephew ASAP. Both the Namikaze and the Forbidden Scrolls were just a bonus. My spy informed me Konoha didn't change their basic sensing barrier given by Mito Uzumaki, believing any slight change will damage or destroy their precious barrier. Knowing the barrier mechanism, World Team infiltrated Konoha, and combined with the festival, it was very easy for them to get there undetected. Sandaime Hokage was in the middle of a meeting, taking his guards with him, leaving his office defenseless, and the Namikaze Uzumaki compound barrier was easy to get in. Overall, Konoha's security has become lax. Hashimi answered. Some councils snort how the self-proclaimed strongest village had made basic mistakes, but their mistakes gave Yuzu the advantage, gaining back their lost clan members, valuable techniques, and inside information. The meeting is dismissed, Yuzukage announced, banging her gavel. Yuzu Hospital. Naruto was very confused, scared and hungry after he woke up in an unfamiliar room with a red-haired woman next to him. The only thing he could remember was being beaten by a mob and hiding in the alley, making him fall asleep. Did he die or did someone find him? So he decides to find the answer by trying to wake the woman next to him. "Excuse me," he said quietly, hoping this lady wouldn't hurt him. The woman didn't wake up, so he raised his voice. "Excuse me," he said a little bit louder, but got the same result. Trying one last time, he took a deep breath to shout, until a door opened, revealing a young nurse holding a tray of hot food. Seeing one of the patient woke up like they predicted, she gave him a small smile to show she didn't want to hurt him, knowing he will be scared from being approached by a complete stranger. "Good you're awake," she chirped happily, getting Naruto to relax. Seeing no hostility from her, he asked her his questions. "Can I ask you some question, miss?" he shyly asked. "Sure. What do you want to know?" she said, putting the food down in front of Naruto. He was too focused on her, not realizing hot food was in front of him. Who are you? Where am I? And how did I get here?" he questioned. "My name is Yuna Rinha, a medic nin. You're at Uzushioga, and Uzanin rescued you." Yuna answered his questions in order. "Uzushioga? Wait, so I am not at Konoha?" he said with a surprised look on his face, knowing he is at a different village. "Well, technically we retrieved you back to your rightful place since you are a Uzumaki clan member. You and your mother are both safe," Yuna said, surprising Naruto further. "Uzumaki clan? Mom?" he yelled hysterically. "Where is she? How come she never came to me? Did she love me?" Yuna placed her hand on his shoulder, calming him down. "Naruto, your questions will be answered later. Right now you should eat your food before it gets cold," she said calmly as Naruto nodded his head slowly. Yuna gave Naruto a small smile, then left the room. Seeing he will get his answers later, he saw his food in front of him, making him drool seeing the delicious-looking food. Heck, back at the orphanage he only received food that tasted nasty, and if he's lucky, he can eat the leftovers from the garbage. Taking a small bite of the hash brown, his eyes became wide, and he quickly devoured his food in seconds. After he finished his food, he patted his stomach in content. "That was good," he happily commented. After a few minutes, a door opened as Yuna and another red-haired woman entered the room. "Wow, I just left you for a few minutes and you already finished your meal," Yuna said, amused. "The food was great, Yuna-san," Naruto said with a bright smile, and his eyes sparkled like diamonds. The two women had to physically or mentally restrain themselves from hugging Naruto, and adding with his whisker marks on his face only makes him cuter. Shaking their heads back to reality, a red-haired woman sat next to him to introduce herself. "Hi, Naruto-kun, my name is Hashimi, and I am your aunt," Hashimi said, getting right to the point, not wanting to hide anything from her nephew. Naruto had a shocked look on his face, how this woman just told him that she is a relative to him. Before he got to ask questions, Hashimi went on with her explanation. 1 hour later. "Well, that is everything," Hashimi finished her long explanation to Naruto. For Naruto, he was quiet as his mind tried to process a lot of information, like the comatose woman next to him was his mother, his Jinchuriki status, his deceased father being the Yandame Hokage, the Uzumaki clan, and Uzushiogakure's history. That's a lot of stuff to take in," he mumbled in shock, and it took him a couple of minutes to come back to reality. "Just one question before I go to sleep," he said, getting Hashimi and Yuna to nod their heads. "When is my mom going to wake up?" Yuna looked through her paper and said, "Your mother will be awake by the end of this month." He breathed in relief that his mother will be awake soon. Back at the orphanage, he wished for his family, and now he finally got his wish to come true. Closing his eyes, he fell asleep with a small smile on his face. Konoha, 7 days later. Hiruzen Sarutobi was pacing back and forth inside his office, worried that his predecessor's son went missing a couple of days ago. When he discovered that the matron kicked him out during the festival, he was infuriated this happened, and because of their foolishness, Konoha has lost 2 clan heir, a Jinchuriki, and maybe a strong ninja. So he sent that close-minded matron to Ibiki to get more information on Naruto. Earlier, he informed the council about Naruto's disappearance, leading the clan heads to be worried that Konoha's Jinchuriki went missing, and the civilian council was happy that the demon was gone. He commanded them this information will not be spread so that other nations, especially IWA, Kumo and AIM, will not take advantage of their weakened condition. Sigh. "This is a mess," Hiruzen said, until one of his NBU appeared in front of him with a report. "Did you find him, Kakashi?" he said, looking at the spiky silver hair ninja. No, Hokage-sama, my squad couldn't find anything, even my summon cannot find any scent of Naruto, Kakashi said, hiding his regret of losing his sensei's son. Keep searching. I will give your squad until the end of this month to find him, and if not, we have no choice but to end the search until Jiraiya finds any information. Hiruzen said. Yesterday he sent his summon to Jiraiya telling him Naruto went missing and his student wasn't happy to discover this. But Jiraiya is willing to help his search. He also didn't notice the forbidden scroll he had inside his office was a fake one filled with explosive notes, ready to be detonated, when opened while the real one was already taken. In addition, Konoha didn't realize the loss of Namake's scrolls, and it will take a couple of years for top Konoha councils to discover this. Root base. Danzo wasn't pleased to discover that Konoha's Jinchuriki and the Yandame's wife went missing. He sent his root to search for them before Hiruzen or any other nation does. A root appeared in front of him bringing his report. Anything new? Danzo said or demanded. No, Danzo-sama, we couldn't locate our targets, and even search parties sent by the Sandame couldn't find any leads. His root said in a monotone voice. Danzo gripped his cane in displease, not liking the results. In normal situation he would have killed this root for failure, but didn't kill him as he needed every root to continue the search. Kidnapping Kushina and putting her in a comatose state was one of the deals he was going to make with Orochimaru in the future to study the Uzumaki bloodline. Now losing his captive and Jinchuriki angered him greatly. He wouldn't give up until he gets them before someone else does. Continue the search, he commanded, making his root disappear, receiving his order. This will delay my plans, he thought in bitter. Yuzushiogakure Ninja Academy, 1 year later. Kushina adjusted her son's uniform like any normal mother does to their son/daughter on first day of school, much to Naruto's annoyance. Infinite Stratos uniform. Ka-chan. My school uniform is fine, Naruto whines, but his mother lightly smacked back of his head, shutting up his whining. Hush. Naruto-chan, today is your first day of the academy, so be on your best behavior. Listen to your sensei, make good friends, and make me proud, Kushina said, kissing her son's forehead for good luck. Naruto smiled at his mother, happy that he has got his family and is living a normal life unlike the hostility he received back at Konoha. Thanks, Ka-chan. Naruto hugged his mother and went inside the ninja academy as the rest of the first-year students went to their assigned class. The layout on Yuzu Ninja Academy can only be described as large, futuristic, and strict. Imagine Infinite Stratos Academy. The Yuzu Academy do not tolerate any ill manners, arrogance, or any other negative trait from the students. The academy is also a boarding school where students live and train there for 6 years except on breaks/vacation. The academy has everything for students to use, such as boys/girls dormitories, changing room, gym, training field, battle arena, library, boys/girls large bath, classroom, infirmary, shops, and many more. The academy staffs are professionals where many of them are veteran ninjas and do not play favoritism with their students. Their job is to teach their students to the best of their ability and prepare them the dangers from ninja life. Overall, they don't sugarcoat anything. Going inside the classroom, Naruto sees the first-year students like him, where many of them are either confident or nervous. Quickly, he chose a seat next to a black-haired girl and greeted her with a smile on his face. Hi, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I hope we can get along, he greeted with his hand stretched out for a handshake. The girl smiled back at him as she greeted him back by shaking his hand. Nice to meet you, Naruto-san. My name is Haku Yuki, and I hope we can get along, Haku said, smiling back. Thanks, Haku-san, Naruto said in excitement at making a friend. The class went quiet as students saw their sensei arrived, making everyone find their seats. Their sensei is a male in mid-30s. He wore black business suit, black shoes, and had a large scar on his right cheek, making him look intimidating person. Welcome to Yuzu Academy. My name is Hitoshi and I will be your sensei for the next 6 years. My rules are simple. 1. Don't talk back to me. 2. Respect each other. If you don't, you will receive severe punishment. 3. Be on your best behavior. 4. Follow school rules. And 5. Do your best, Hitoshi said sternly, making every student to nod their heads in complete fear from their sensei. Oh man, this guy is scary. But I can make friends and make my family proud, Naruto thought. Today I am going to go over attendance. When I say your name, just inform me you're here. Their sensei said, reading students' names for attendance until he heard interesting names he recognized. Haku Yuki. Here, Sensei. Haku responded. Ryuka Tenro. Here, Ryuka said. A purple-haired girl was sitting behind Naruto and he remembered seeing her at the formal party with her father months ago. Karen Uzumaki. Here, Karen. A red-haired girl wearing a glasses responded. Naruto met Karen and the other Uzumaki children last year. He did make friends with them and he sees Karen as older sister figure since she was older than him by few hours. Naruto Uzumaki. Here, he quickly said. After Hitoshi-sensei finished his attendance, he made another announcement. Today we are going to work on unlocking your chakra. After that we will work on your physical exercises, practice throwing kunai/shuriken, basic chakra control exercises, and general education. Sensei said. Everyone go to changing room to change your P.E clothes and meet me at Academy Training Ground number 2 in 15 minutes. Go. Hitoshi-sensei yelled, getting every student to go to the changing room ASAP. This is awesome, Naruto thought in excitement. What would have happened if I had studied at Konoha? Meanwhile, at Konoha Ninja Academy. Konoha first-year students were chattering on first day of school, as some of them had arrogant or nervous looks on their faces. It didn't take long for their sensei to come inside the noisy classroom. Shut up and sit down. A scarred-nosed ninja yelled at his students, making them get quiet. My name is Irika and I will be your sensei throughout your academy years. Today we are going to work on chakra theory, math, writing, science, and politics, scarred-nosed teacher said, earning moans from his students about not getting to learn cool techniques. Quiet. You will unlock your chakra by next year, so we will focus on G courses this year. It's very important for you to complete this before you start your ninja training, he said. Irika-sensei, can't we train and study at the same time? A pink-haired girl questioned. To answer your question, Sakura-san, the Honorable Council passed this law, so don't argue with their decision. Irika answered. The truth behind this law to be passed was to increase the number of graduating students to increase Konoha's strength. Because of last 2 wars, Kyuubi's attack, and constant skirmishes with multiple villages, Konoha had no choice but to make their test easy to pass for them to recuperate their losses. Wealthy clan members and clan heads will pay hefty taxes to avoid their children going on to the front lines, while regular ninja forces will be placed at front line, as majority of them will either die or, if they are lucky, become cripple. But only top council members knows this, and if the public were to discover the truth, it will badly damage their public view and trust. Back at Yuzu Academy. After their intense training that lasted until 6 p.m., Naruto made his way inside of his dorm room. Opening it, he sees a brown-haired boy who happens to be his roommate. Hi there, are you my roommate? Naruto said. Yes, I am, and my name is Yuto Rinha, and I hope we can be friends, Yuto said, greeting Naruto back. Naruto raised one of his eyebrows hearing his roommate's name until he snapped his finger, remembering who he was. Wait, are you son of Malice, the clan head of Rinha clan? Naruto said, remembering the formal party he went with his mother months ago that had clan heads and their children. Yep, that's me, and I am here to study to become a medic nin to make my mom proud, Yuto said with grin on his face. Nice to meet you, Yuto-san. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto greeted his friendly roommate. Ah, I heard about you from my mother, Yuto said in realization after hearing his name. As Yuto and Naruto shared their stories, they found out their goals, like Yuto, who wants to become next clan head after his mother, and Naruto wanting to be strong to protect his family, friends, and village. Chapter 3, Wave Mission. 6 years later. 12 years old Naruto Uzumaki has grown a lot over the years, with a height of 5 feet, 2 in tall, with impressive muscle tone that can make girls blush. His hairstyle is very similar to that of his deceased father's, as he grew his red hair long with both bangs framing both sides of his face. He wears black ninja clothing, has couple of storage scroll hidden in his clothing, and carries a black katana. Overall, Naruto became quite a handsome young man. Right now he and his team are on a mission to the Land of Wave as they pass through the Land of Fire undetected. He is a member of Team 1 that consists of himself, Haku, and Yuto. Their team sensei is Kaguya Uzumaki. Kaguya Uzumaki is 21 years old and a former world nin. She has height of 6 foot tall, has long red hair that goes down to her hips, her hair bang cover her right eye, has blue eye on her left eye, a slender body and impressive bust. She wears standard black ninja uniform and wields a red katana. Team 1 was formed last year as they completed a lot of missions, including a couple of CA ranked ones, making them an experienced team. Haku had grown a lot over the years too, with the height of 5 foot tall, grew her hair long reaching down to her shoulders, developed nice curves in the right places, and C-cup breasts, making her a very attractive young girl. She wears standard ninja clothing and a couple of storage scroll. Yuto didn't change much, except he carries a storage scrolls around his belt with a medical cross sign indicating him to be the team medic nin. He has grown taller and is now 5 feet 1 inch tall and has some muscle on him, making him a capable fighter. So far they didn't run into any Konoha patrols as they jumped through the trees. 1 week ago, Yuzu received a report from their spy that the Land of Wave was in a dire situation and a person named Gato, owner of Gato Company, was taking control of that area. The spy received this information from a client named Tsunami, and she agreed for Yuzu to free the Land of Wave. So they decided to eliminate Gato and his goons to liberate the inhabitants. In return, Yuzu will be trading partners with the Land of Wave. Kia-sensei, are we going to meet the client first? Naruto asked as he used his sensor ability and detected nobody nearby. That is correct, Naruto, and we must know where Gato is at before we eliminate him. Information is very important for missions to come out successful. Kia answered, reminding her students that information is vital to every mission. Yes, Sensei, Naruto grumbled, always hearing this information is vital lecture. Haku and Yuto silently laughed how their sensei always remind Naruto in her lectures. After 20 minutes of traveling, Team 1 arrived at their destination, and they stuck to the shadows, not wanting to attract attention, especially from Gato and his thugs. Looking around, they saw the desolate condition of the village, as they witnessed homeless people with hopeless looks on their faces, and worst of all, they saw starving children on the street begging for food. Haku and Yuto had sad looks on their faces seeing this, and it was no surprise for them how cruel reality can be when the academy taught their students for years. For Naruto, he had a blank look on his face. But on inside he was enraged how Gato ruined these people's life, and he swore he will kill him to free them. Kia had an indifferent look on her face, already used to this type of situation. Finally, they stopped at their client's house and knocked on the door until a long blue-haired woman opened the door. The woman was startled seeing ninjas in front of her door, but she quickly composed herself, remembering who they are. Are you Tsunami? Kia asked, wanting to make sure that they found their client. Tsunami nods her head with a smile on her face, being hospitable towards the group of ninjas, and she was surprised to see 3 of them to be quite young. She invited her guests inside the living room. That is correct, and you must be the ninjas I requested? Tsunami said, bringing cups of water for her guests to drink. That's correct, and is there anybody here inside your house? Kia asked, sensing a child's presence on the 2nd floor. It's only me and my son right now. My father went out yesterday telling me he will find help, but I am not sure when he will return. Tsunami said, to which Team 1 nod their heads. I bet her father is trying to get help from a neighboring ninja village, and if I have to guess, he either went to Kanehigakure or Tanigakure for help. We need to complete this mission ASAP before foreign ninja arrives. Kia thought. Looking at Tsunami, Kia asked her client for the intel. Tsunami-san, do you know where Gato is located and how many goons does he have? Tsunami put her hand under her chin, trying to remember where the bastard lived, but she shook her head negatively. I don't know where Gato is located, but I do know his goons might. They are located at the harbor protecting the goods, or they are at the bar. Tsunami said, and Team 1 nod their heads in response. Team 1 decided to target Gato's thugs at the harbor, seeing as the goods will be taken to a secure place and it will be there that they will strike first. Naruto and Kia will be in the front line handling the fight, while Haku and Yuto will act as support. Harbor. 10 minutes later. There were 30 of Gato's thugs guarding the harbor with stolen goods. So far, Team 1 made a plan where they will send their clones to follow a small group of Gato's thugs back to their home base while they eliminate the rest to gain control of the harbor. By freeing the harbor, Wave citizens will get their harbor and goods back, so they will not suffer from starvation. After that, they will eliminate the thugs at the bar and the rest throughout the town before Team 1 commence the final attack on Gato's place. However, they need to complete all of these quickly before Gato and his thugs become aware of their missing comrades. Seeing 10 thugs going back to their home base with the goods leaving behind 20 thugs, Kia signaled Naruto to summon his clones where they followed them quietly. After 10 minutes of waiting, Kia gave another signal to commence their stealth attack. Haku took out her poison senbon and threw it at 5 thugs who happened to be the farthest away from the group. As the senbon hit the target behind their heads, they immediately died, not realizing what happened as darkness took over. This wasn't her first kill of her ninja career since Team 1 was formed last year, making them an experienced team. Yuto stayed behind just in case his team needed any medical attention. Naruto and Kia stealthily killed the 10 thugs in silence, leaving 5 thugs left. It didn't take them long until one of the thugs realized his comrades went missing. "Hey, where did they go?" a thug questioned, seeing their comrades gone from their posts. Another thug close to him shrugged his shoulder, not knowing what happened. But they got their answer, seeing shurikens fly towards them, hitting their body in vital parts, killing them. The rest of the 3 thugs were on alert. However, they died when more shurikens came flying towards them, killing them. Seeing all of the thugs dead, Team 1 came out from the forest and went back to the town to eliminate the thugs. "Let's go," Kia ordered as Team 1 disappeared. Town 10 minutes later. Team 1 arrived at the town where Naruto used his sensor skill to find their targets. Few minutes later, they discovered that all of the thugs throughout the town are at the bar enjoying their break. They must be quite stupid for all of them to be in one building and without any guards at that, Haku commented. "This will benefit us, Haku-san, since we can take them all out quickly, and their overconfidence will be their downfall," Yuto said, explaining to his teammate. Haku nodded her head, accepting Yuto's explanation. It was true, their job became easier and she didn't complain about it. "Enough," Kia said to her students and looked at Naruto. "Naruto, can you send a clone and henge it into one of the thugs to infiltrate the bar to see if there's any civilian inside?" "Okay, Kia-sensei," Naruto said, making a clone, henge into a thug, and send his clone inside the bar. After waiting for 20 minutes, Naruto received his clone memory. "Sensei, there are no civilians inside the bar, and it seems that the thugs kicked them out," Naruto explained. Seeing this as a perfect opportunity, she looked at Yuto. "Yuto, use your poison mist." Yuto nodded his head as he went to an opening that led inside. He quickly did his hand seals, ejecting his poison mist inside the bar without alerting the thugs. It took him a few minutes until Team 1 heard the sounds of bodies falling down, signifying this part is completed. "Naruto, did your clones locate Gato's home base yet?" Kia asked, seeing Gat's place to be the last base. "Yeah, my clones just dispelled. Gato's mansion is minutes from here. He is at his office discussing with 4 foreign ninjas, and the place is filled with thugs," Naruto said, worried, finding other ninjas in Wave and rest of Team 1 had the same thought. "Naruto, lead the way," Kia said as Team 1 disappeared again without leaving any evidence, and it will be next hour for Citizen to discover the corpses inside the bar. Gato's mansion, 13 minutes later. Team 1 silently arrived as they watched 30 thugs surrounding the mansion, and they suspect there will be more inside the mansion, including the 4 foreign ninjas. Team 1 knows that their stealth attack will not completely eliminate the thugs like last time, but their sneak attack can reduce the enemy forces. So Team 1 decide to use the same strategy to eliminate the thugs outside first before they engage the ones inside. It didn't take them very long to eliminate all of the thugs outside. So Naruto used his sensor ability again to estimate the number of thugs inside, and surprisingly, there were only 20, including Gato and 4 unknown ninjas. "Kia-sensei, there are 20 of them, including Gato and 4 unknown ninjas. I will put up a barrier," Naruto said. "Do it," Kia said, just in case, not wanting enemy backup to arrive or anyone to escape. Naruto took out one of his storage scrolls, taking out 4 individual barrier tags, and handed them to his clones. His clones went out and placed them in a perfect square where Naruto performed his hand seals, activating it, causing invisible barriers to appear around the area. The barrier tags will disintegrate on their own after a few hours, or the user disperses it. Seeing the barrier was up, Team 1 infiltrated Gato's place as they went separate ways. Hallway, 10 minutes later. Crack. A thug's body silently dropped to the floor without making any sounds. Kia dusted her hands, seeing all of the thugs in the hallway killed. That's the last of them around here. Now to find the target, she thought until she heard the sound of shuriken flying towards her, which she quickly dodged. Impressive, you dodged my attack from such a short distance, a man said, wearing a forehead protector with a musical symbol on it. A musical symbol? Clearly he is a ninja from an unknown village. Better not drop my guard, Kia thought while getting into her kenjutsu stance by grabbing the hilt of her katana. Well, we do have business with Gato and I don't like to waste time, a man said with small smirk on his face, taking out his own katana. Judging from your headband, you're not from any major village and your village must be new, Kia said, wanting to gain much information as she can by playing with her opponent's arrogance. Ha! I will show you that Otogekure will rise to power, Otonin said, taking out his katana and charged at her with high Tunin speed. Kia dodged the attack as she quickly swung her katana to cut her opponent in half, but she cut a simple water clone, causing the clone to disperse. Then she quickly turned around to block an attack from the back. The Otonin was surprised his trick didn't work. When he tried to use his single-hand seal, he was kicked in the stomach, pushing him back, making him stumble. Quickly he looked up and saw that the red-haired woman was gone. He tensed up, preparing for a sneak attack, but after a few minutes of waiting he lost his patience. Where you at, bitch? Are you too weak to face me? He taunted, wanting to make his opponent make a mistake. Shut up, Kia whispered from behind as she quickly used her Iato style. IAI beheading. Using impressive speed and a single slash, she was on the other side of her opponent, sheathing her katana, and she calmly walked away, leaving a stunned Otonin. Shaking his head, he was about to yell at the red-haired women not to walk away from him, but he couldn't say anything until his vision went to the ground and saw his decapitated body, and then darkness came. Fool, giving me information? Otogekure. The council need to know about this, Kia mumbled to herself as she continued the mission. Team 1, can you read me? She said in her wireless radio. Living room 5 minutes ago. So far, the coast is clear, Haku thought, seeing the place is empty. A few minutes ago she eliminated some of thugs patrolling the area without any problem. Now she was checking for unknown ninjas. Sensing a killing intent, she quickly dodged 3 Fuma shurikens, successfully only leaving behind a damaged room. The attack came from the corner of this room, Haku thought as she unleashed her senbons in all 4 corners until she saw a shadow jumped out from one of the corners. Found you. Not bad for a genin, and I thought you would be an easy target? A female said, wearing a forehead protector with musical symbol on it on her right shoulder. She also has a Fuma shuriken on her back, which probably makes her a mid to long-range specialist. She must be Tunin level and specialize in mid-long range combat. She doesn't know my abilities yet, and she lost the element of surprise, Haku thought. Without wasting time, Haku went offense as she threw more of her senbon, forcing the Otonin to dodge, giving her time to perform her jutsu. Water release, cold sky water attack. Haku shoots out numerous amounts of jets of water at high speed from her mouth, but all of the water projectiles miss thanks to the Otonin's impressive agility. Ha, is that it, little girl? Otonin mocked as she threw her shurikens at the incoming water, destroying it. Then she threw her Fuma shuriken at Haku as she combined the large projectile with a chakra string and a fire jutsu, making it a combination technique. Fire release, string flame shuriken. The Fuma shuriken is now infused with flame, increasing the flame length and projectile speed. Haku slightly widened her eyes in surprise seeing this technique, as she increased her speed, avoiding the weapon. That's not all, Otonin shouted as she used her chakra string to get her flaming Fuma shuriken to follow Haku further, destroying the room. Run, little rabbit. It won't be long until I get you. Now to get a little bit serious, Haku thought, using one-handed seals. 1,000 flying water needles of death. Like what the name of the jutsu, the room is filled with 1,000 water needles directly aiming at the Otonin. The Otonin was surprised to see 1,000 water needles around her, making it impossible to avoid. How did she get the water source? Otonin thought with sweat on her forehead at seeing this situation. As she think back, she got her answer: the water jutsu she used earlier. She planned this. Before she tried to do something, Haku had already disappeared, making the 1,000 water needles fly towards the Otonin. After few seconds, Haku saw the Otonin with a horror look on her face as she was pierced by multiple water needles, killing her. Like what you said earlier, it didn't take long until I got you, Haku said, walking away since the fight is finished. Stopping, she received a message from Kia-sensei as she put her hand on her right ear. Haku here, she said. Kitchen 5 minutes ago. Yudo had bored look on his face, seeing no enemy nearby. So far he was tempted to look for food in the refrigerator. I am getting bored. I bet my teammates and sensei just finished all of the thugs, Yudo thought. Yudo tilted his head to his left, lazily dodging a kunai from behind. Turning around, he saw a 6-foot-tall muscular man wearing a forehead protector with a musical symbol on his belt. He realized his opponent must be a taijutsu specialist, seeing how big he is. Huh? You must be lucky to dodge that, the Otonin gruff in annoyance. Nope. I had felt a killing intent coming from you a few minutes ago, Yudo said, putting on his taijutsu stance. Ha ha ha. Otonin laughed, seeing a kid wanting to fight him in close combat. Oh man, I thought this mission would be boring, but at least I get something to kill, Otonin said, gripping his fist, putting his chakra on it. Then he charged at Yudo quickly. For an inexperienced genin, he would only be a blur, but for Yudo, he can clearly see his opponent coming towards him, aiming to punch him in his face. Focusing enough chakra Yudo on his fist and punching his opponent's fist, stopping him and causing a strong enough shock wave for the kitchen utensils to fly and the ground beneath them to crack. The Otonin had a surprised look on his face, seeing someone, a genin of that, stopping his weak version of chakra-enhanced strength. What the hell? How did you stop my punch? Otonin said in surprise as he tried to put more force into his fist, but Yudo didn't budge at all. After years of practice, I can easily control my chakra flow throughout my body, giving me an easier time when it comes to enhancing it, Yudo explained. Be bullshit. We are the Oto elites and I will not be defeated by a little punk, Otonin shouts as he used his other fist trying to punch Yudo. Yudo sighs as he channeled his chakra into his other fist and punched Otonin in the chest hard before the enemy had a chance to gather his chakra into his other hand. This caused the Otonin to fly back, smashing into the wall and destroying it. The Otonin eyes had rolled into the back of his head, blood coming out from his mouth, and pretty much he was already dead from his shattered chest cage, puncturing his internal organs. That was easy, Yudo commented, and he put his hand on his earpiece, hearing his sensei from the radio. Yudo here, he said. Basement, 5 minutes ago. Naruto had a disgusted look on his face, seeing the empty cells and other sickening devices. It was obviously clear he was at prison/torture basement, and from the looks inside the cells he saw some human skeletons that belonged to wave citizens who couldn't pay taxes or they tried to fight against Gato. Right now there was no one inside the cells, but sooner or later this cage will be filled with innocent people. Sick bastard, Naruto said. He sensed a presence coming inside this room and trying to get close to him from behind. Naruto immediately took out his black katana as he blocked an attack from behind. Crossing blades with the enemy, Naruto kicked his opponent away, gaining some distance. How the hell did you find out? I hide my presence before I came here. A man shouted, both confused and angered as he rubbed his stomach from the kick earlier. Naruto scoffed at him. I already knew you came here, and who are you? I am one of the Otonin elites, and I don't have to waste my time speaking to a weakling like you, Otonin said as he charged at Naruto and swung his katana at him. Naruto dodged the attack with ease, then he counterattacked by slashing at his opponent, slightly cutting his shoulder, causing blood to flow out. Seeing this situation, the Otonin jumped back as he used his hand seals against the red-haired punk. Fire release, great fireball technique. He expelled from his mouth a medium-sized fireball at his opponent. Seeing a fireball coming straight at him, Naruto channeled his chakra into his katana, increasing the length, density, and sharpness of the blade. Wind release, wind cutter. Releasing a single condensed wind blade from his katana, it traveled towards the Otonin at an incredible speed as it cut the fireball in half. The Otonin had his eyes widen at seeing this, but he wasn't fast enough as the ninkenjutsu technique passed right through him and the cage behind him. Slowly, part of the cage went down as it was horizontally cut in half. Thud. Impossible, Tunin said as the upper half of his body slowly slid away from his lower half and down to the ground. That was a letdown for someone proclaiming himself as an elite, Naruto said going up the stairs. Naruto received an incoming message where he put his hand on his ear. Naruto here. Where do we meet? He said walking back to meet his team. Hallway 10 minutes later. As he passed the dead thugs and a Otonin in the hallway, he saw his teammates and Kia-sensei waiting for him. Hey everyone, Naruto greets them and his two teammates greets him back. Report what you guys find about these Otonins? Kia ordered her genins. The first person to give report was Haku, from what I know. My opponent was a mid-Chunin ninja who specialized in mid-range combat and C-rank combination technique, she said. Yuto went next. My opponent was a high Chunin who specialized in close-range combat. He had a bastardized version of chakra-enhanced strength. He was quite fast and called himself an Oto Elite, he reported. Finally, Naruto shared his report. I eliminated an elite Otonin who happened to be a low or mid-Chunin ninja. He specialized in both stealth and kenjutsu, and surprisingly he used a fire release, great fireball technique that happens to be a Uchiha clan technique. I believe he originated from the land of fire, stole a technique, or a missing Konohanin taught him that technique, he said. Kia nodded her head listening to her students' reports. So we got ninja who came from a place called Otogekure. The enemies we engaged are Chunin levels, and their skills are average. I need to report this to the counselors when we return, she thought. All right, let's take care of Gato, Kia said, to which her students nod their heads. It didn't take them too long for them to find Gato inside his room. Seeing the target shock to see Team 1, he threatened them that he will call his thugs and Otonins. To make things worse, Gato gave lustful looks towards Kia and Haku and said that he will enjoy breaking them, infuriating the ladies. Not wanting to listen to his foolish talk, Kia and Haku killed him, ending his tyranny over Wave. While Naruto and Yuto sweat drop seeing the ladies butcher Gato like a pig. As Team 1 searched his office, they recovered stolen valuables taken from Wave citizens which they will return to their proper owners. In addition, 2 interesting documents was found surprising Team 1. The first document was written by Gato himself wanting to establish a human trafficking with Otogekure. In return he wants wealth and protection from them. Team 1 figured out that the Otonins that were here was requested by Gato in order to talk business. But with them dead, the deal is gone. The second document was a plan for Gato to hire and later betray Zabuza Momochi, one of Kirigikure's 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. This plan will commence after Zabuza handled the foreign ninjas requested by Tazuna, resulting in him being too exhausted to fight against his army of thugs and Otonins. After Zabuza's death, Gato will receive his bounty, and the Kubikirabocho will be given to the Otonin for their reward. Man, good thing we killed both Gato and the Otonins, Yuto commented after reading the documents. I'm more concerned that Zabuza is here. Strangely, Haku had a thinking pose after finding out Zabuza was here. Kia looked at her student strangely, but she shrugged it off. No need to worry, Yuto-san. Zabuza is a missing nin who isn't stupid enough to make more enemies with other ninjas, and if we present this document to him, he will have no reason to fight against us. Kia explained. Sure, Team 1 can win a fight against Zabuza, but if he has partners backing him up, the fight will be completely different. Naruto jerked his head, sensing someone coming here quickly, and he signaled his team that someone was here. They suspect that it must be Zabuza since Gato did hired him, and they didn't see him during the fight. Taking out their weapons, they waited until front door was kicked open by Zabuza, who looked tired and pissed like he just came out from a big fight. Few minutes ago, Zabuza was frustrated that his surprise attack to kill Tazuna ended up in a failure, since the drunken bridge builder was protected by a Konoha team, especially Kakashi Hatake, Kakashi of the Sharingan. At first, he trapped Kakashi inside his water prison technique in pure luck, but the bastard was freed when both Uchiha and Inuzuka decided to work together to free their sensei, which they did. The fight between him and Kakashi continued for a while until their fight became a draw. Seeing both fighters injured and exhausted, he had no choice but to escape since he doesn't have enough strength to handle all of his opponents. Right now, he wants to demand Gato to increase his pay or he will abandon this mission. He used his body flicker technique appearing before Gato's front door, not wanting to waste time walking there, and if he didn't use that technique, he would have found dead thugs and foreign ninjas inside Gato's mansion. He kicked the door open, causing it enough to crack. All right, you little shit. I need to talk to you if I want. Who the hell are you? Zabuza yelled in surprise, seeing some foreign ninjas wearing forehead protector with an odd symbol and a dead gato that looks like he just came out from a meat grinder. He took out his kubikurabocho, seeing them. Start talking or I will kill you. He threatened, releasing his killing intent full blast towards the unknown ninjas. He knows that he will not survive if he fight against them in his current condition, but with intimidation he might avoid a fight. Team 1 wasn't affected by Zabuza's killing intent. Kia signaled her students to lower their weapons, where she will try to negotiate with him. We are not here to fight you, Zabuza, but we can have a civilized talk, Kia said as she sat down on a chair with a table in front of her and an empty chair other side for Zabuza to sit down. Seeing no hostility from any of them, Zabuza put his weapon back where he took it from, and he hesitantly sat down on a chair opposite to red-haired women. He was still alert and ready to fight just in case. All right, who are you and what do you want? Zabuza said, crossing his arms. We are just wandering ninjas who just happened to eliminate Gato and his goons. So seeing your employer is dead, what do you want to do? Kia asked. Zabuza shrugged his shoulders. Sure, he was a little angry that he lost chance to get paid. But there are other employers out there with better pay. I will just look for other jobs to get paid, he said truthfully. Before I forget, Gato was about to betray you, and here this document that will prove it, Kia said, giving Zabuza a document. What? Zabuza shouts, standing up, causing Team 1 Genins to tense. He snatched the document, reading it, and slowly he released his killing intent. That son of a bitch. He think he can betray me and steal my weapon. Zabuza roared in anger, glaring at the document. A few minutes later, he calmed down, seeing Gato and his little bitches were already dead, even though he wants to slice them into little pieces. Well, I got nothing else to do, so I will be leaving dash. He was interrupted by a black-haired girl. Wait, I want to buy a certain techniques from you, Haku said, gaining surprised looks from her team and Zabuza. Zabuza was quiet, hearing this. Sure, he cannot leave empty-handed, so it was tempting for him to teach his techniques for the right price. Naruto, Kia, and Yuto were kind of surprised, and they realized why Haku was a little bit excited after she discovered Zabuza was here. What techniques are you interested in, and how much are you willing to pay me? Zabuza said, crossing his arms. Looking at her sensei, she received a nod from her, getting her permission. To save time training me, I want scrolls containing information on both the hiding in mist technique and silent killing, paying you 20 million Ryo, she said. Team 1 didn't mind how much they are paying, since the amount of money they retrieved from Gato was a lot and their village has plenty of money. For Zabuza, he had money signs on his eyes. Sure, those techniques are his favorites and quite common at Kirigakure. He quickly opened his pouch, tossing her 2 scrolls. Haku opened the scrolls, satisfied those were real, and she gave one of the briefcase with 20 million Ryo in it to Zabuza, making him very happy. After seeing the trade came out successful, both sides went their separate ways, where Team 1 went back to Tsunami to give them the good news, and Zabuza went back to Kiri to meet someone. Tsunami's house, 20 minutes later. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Tsunami said, crying in joy after hearing the news of Gato and his thug's death. Wave is finally free. After she calmed herself, she looked at Team 1 with a smile on her face. Like I promised, the land of Wave will be trading partners with your village, Tsunami said. Of course we are awesome like that, Databeo, Naruto exclaimed, giving Tsunami a thumbs up. He was smacked on the back of his head by Kia-sensei to keep his excitement down and act professional. Sorry for one of my students' behavior. Here are all of the stuff Gato took from your people, and don't tell anyone our identities, Kia said to Tsunami, nodding her head. You too, kid, she added. Hearing a small gasp near the stairs, Tsunami saw her son looking at them from the stairs. Inari, Tsunami scolded her son for eavesdropping. Sorry? But is it true you guys defeated Gato? Inari said with hope in his eyes. Yes. Gato is no more and Wave is liberated. Haku answered his question. Inari cheered happily as he thanked the Uzunins and babbled about how heroes really did exist. After that happened, Wave citizens celebrated their freedom and marked Team 1 as the heroes of Wave. The next day, Team 1 went back to Yuzushigakure to inform their Yuzukage about the results of the mission. Tsunami's house 2 hours later. Tsunami and Inari, I'm home. Tazuna shout entering his home with Konohanins, Team 7. Following behind him including an unconscious spiky silver-haired adult. Dad, you cannot believe what you missed, Tsunami exclaimed happily followed by a happy Inari. Tazuna and the Konohanins were confused about what she and the little kid are so happy about. A few days ago, they discovered the truth about their first C-rank mission after they were ambushed by 2 missing Nins. After that, they encountered and fought against Zabuza Momochi, resulting in a draw. Thinking about it now, they just realized the people here are much happier than they should be, based on what Tazuna has told them, which is confusing them. What do you mean? Tazuna asked confused. Gato and his thugs are dead. Wave is finally free, she said, surprising Tazuna and the Konohanins. What? Explain, Tazuna shout in surprise. So Tsunami explained to them what happened, as she secretly kept some information to herself, same as Inari. She only told them that mercenary ninjas came here to help them by killing Gato and his thugs, giving their land and stuff back, Zabuza leaving and the celebration. The drunken old man smiled happily that the land of Wave is finally free. Team 7 had different reactions. Kakashi is still knocked out. Sakura is relieved that she won't fight against that monster as she continued to fawn over Sasuke. Sai gave his fake smile as he didn't care as long the Uchiha survives, and this information wasn't very important for his master to know. Sasuke balled his fist seeing that someone else completed the mission, and he didn't get a chance to fight a stronger opponent to unlock his Sharingan. Team 7 stayed at the Land of Wave for few days seeing the mission was already completed and then returned back to Konoha. After the Konohanin left, Tazuna completed his bridge and named it Yuzu Bridge, to remember the heroes that freed them from tyranny. Yuzushioga 5 days later. That's everything from the mission, Yuzukichi-sama, Kia said to Hashimi explaining the mission report. Indeed, this isn't the first time I heard of a new village called Otoge, as my spies and AIM spies informed me their presence. I want your team to have short break and after that resume training, Hashimi said. Hi, Yuzukichi-sama. Kia salute her leader leaving the room. Finally, Kushina will stop bugging me about her son after he left. Seriously, Naruto is one of promising Yuzushinobi, graduated with straight A's and previous school president. Sigh. Hashimi thought as she looked through other reports. Looks like next Chunin exam is going to take place next 3 months at Konoha. Great. I should inform this for my next council meeting. She sighed, mentally exhausted. Chapter 4. Team 2 and Meeting. Yuzushioga 3 days later. Returning back from their another mission, Team 1 enters their massive village gate and went to the Yuzukichi's office to give their mission report. Unlike the other hidden villages throughout the elemental nations, Yuzushioga is actually a very big village with a population of 65,300. 2/3 of the population are ninjas, including the veterans, while the rest of the population are civilians. The village infrastructure can only be described as beautiful, such as tall buildings in the middle of the village, beautiful sakura trees throughout the road, historic castles/shrines at the hills/mountains, clean roads, and many small business. Overall, Naruto finds this place a very hospitable place to live and protect. In addition, it's illegal for the Land of Whirlpool to have a red light district, gambling houses, gang activities, and anything negative related to the public. The reason is that Lady Koto wants her home to be a hospitable place to live, and majority of the population agreed with her. Walking towards the Yuzukichi's tower, they see a lot of bustling activity within the village, seeing the happy faces on the civilians, Yuzunins patrolling the village, and other Yuzu teams minding their own business. Entering the Yuzukichi's office, Team 1 meet with Team 2, who happens to be Ryuka Tenro, including her canine partner Mika, Karen Uzumaki, Shizuka Nadeshiko, and their team sensei Nanao Nadeshiko. Ryuka Tenro is a heiress from Tenro clan. She has grown with a height of 5 foot tall, grew her messy purple hair longer, lean muscular body, and developing D-cup breasts. She wears black skin tight with blue jacket over it, black pants, black boots, and blue fingerless leather gloves for close combat. Also, her clothing contains gravity seals for training purposes. Just by looking at her, Naruto blushed, seeing that she is very attractive and very skilled in taijutsu, making her the close combatant within her team. Her canine partner, Mika, is a female black wolf size of a golden retriever, and is considered to be a young pup. Last time we sparred against each other, we destroyed one of the academy training grounds. After that, we were forbidden to go all out in a friendly spar. How much did she improved? Naruto thought, remembering their all-out fight back at the academy. After that intense spar, Ryuka, with a heavy blush, announced to Naruto that he is her perfect rival, friend, and husband, causing him to blush. Her announcement had caused shock throughout the academy because many knows that Ryuka is one of the best from her clan, taught personally by her father. For his female friends, they had dark auras around them hearing this. Looking at the next person, he sees his clan member Karen Uzumaki. Karen Uzumaki is a young bespectacled girl. She is 4 feet 8 in tall. Red hair going past her shoulders, slim figure, and B-cup breasts. She wears purple clothing with storage scrolls containing medical and poison supplies. She is considered to be the team medic, strategist, and censor, making her great support for her team. Even though she acts as support within her team, she can definitely protect herself. Well, she does spend most of her time at the hospital, and there are rumors that she and Yudo are in a relationship. Still, Karen's mother did worked with Malisan at the hospital, and I bet my ramen that both arranged their relationship. He thought, remembering how both Karen and Yudo always hangs out together back at the academy. Looking at the next person, his face slightly blush, seeing Shizuka Nadeshiko. Shizuka Nadeshiko is the heiress from the Nadeshiko clan. Shizuka is a beautiful fair-skinned young girl. She is 5 feet 1 inch tall with hourglass figure, high C-cup breasts, and has waist-length black hair in a Heim style. She wears standard kunoichi's clothing, that is black clothing with shoulder guards on it, a ninjato on the right side of her hip, and carries several scrolls containing different types of weapons, making her the weapons expert within Team 2. I hope Shizuka-chan didn't upgrade her weapons. Naruto shivers, remembering their friendly spar that had turned into a full fight back at the academy as Shizuka unleashed her hail of weapons at him without resting. At the end, he won against her with his cunning strategy, and he made a note to avoid any future spars against her. After that spar, Shizuka was shocked that she was defeated and sees Naruto as a potential husband, since he did defeat her and showed good sportsmanship, making her blush deeply. Finding that Naruto satisfied her clan's requirements, she proclaimed herself as his wife, which caused Ryuka and surprisingly Haku to have dark auras around them. He isn't that dense and stupid to not realize that all 3 different clan heiresses, Haku, Ryuka, and Shizuka, have a crush on him. Even worse, his mother, aunt, and clan heads encourage their relationship because this can increase stronger ties with clans. Finally, he looks at Team 2 sensei, who happens to be member from the Nadeshiko clan. Nanao is a 22 years old and a former WHIRL nin, just like his sensei. She has a height of 5 feet 11 inches tall, has black hair that goes down to her shoulders, brown eyes, a curvy yet athletic build with high C-cup breasts. She also wears black standard ninja clothing with a large scroll on her back. Team 2 was formed last year like Team 1 and is considered to be one of the best team from Yuzu, as they completed a couple of CA rank missions. Overall, they are a force to be reckoned with, as their teamwork is on par with Team 1 and the kunoichi on that team is very well developed. Hi guys, Naruto greets Team 2 with a smile on his face. Naruto-kun, you're back, Shizuka said happily as she clung to his left arm, which is now between her cleavage. Naruto blushed deeply, feeling her developing breast. Before he gets to say something, Haku split them apart, much to Shizuka's protest, while both Team 1 and 2 sensei greet each other. Sorry about Shizuka-san's behavior, Naruto-kun. Ryuka apologized to him, acting professionally. How was your mission at Southland of Hot Water? She asked, curious how Team 1 mission went. Well, you know the usual, eliminate bandits at the camp, patrols, and help fortress construction. Naruto shrugged his shoulder. How was your mission at the Land of the Moon? Protect the young prince of the Land of the Moon. Freed the kingdom by eliminating a corrupt former minister and his mercenary ninjas. Ryuka describes her mission. Naruto quirked one of his eyebrows, hearing Team 2's mission. What a coincidence how couple of days ago my team saved a small nation from tyrannical bastard. Ryuka giggled, hearing what he said to be true. Suddenly Shizuka jumps to Naruto, where he quickly caught her, preventing both of them from falling down. Whoa! Shizuka-chan, calm down, Naruto said, putting down Shizuka. Aw, I missed you, Naruto-kun. Shizuka pout before she was about to flirt with her boyfriend. She jumps away, avoiding the ice that tried to encase her. Shizuka-san, You shouldn't bother Naruto-kun. Haku appears lecturing her friend after she tried to restrain her. It was no surprise how Haku can be quite protective of Naruto, as she argued that Shizuka's flirting is not ladylike. However, many people know that Haku only want to keep Shizuka away from her Naruto. Hearing this, Shizuka stick her tongue out as she clings to Naruto's arm again, making him blush again. While this was going on, Karen and Yuto are minding their own business as they discuss about their mission, social life, and medical topics. For Nanao-sensei and Kia-sensei, they are quickly greeting each other since they did work together during their time as whirl. After a few more minutes, both team senseis decide to resume their business. Everyone, let's not fool around, we got a mission report to give, Kia said, making Genins to go back to their respective team. Going inside the Uzukage's office, both teams saw the Uzukage sitting on the expensive-looking couch reading a book, completely relaxing, while the Uzukage's clones are doing the paperwork. Both teams sweat drop seeing their village leader lazing around as her clones did the rest of her work. Naruto swear he heard one of the Uzukage's clone mumbled, "Lazy bitch," thanks to his enhanced hearing. Kia gave a quick cough in her hand, getting the Uzukage's attention. Hashimi, seeing Team 1 and 2 present, she closed her book, went back to her desk, and acted like nothing happened. Both teams sweat drop further seeing this. "Welcome back, Team 1 and 2. It's good to see all of you come back safely." Hashimi smiled at them. "Before that, I want the Genins to be dismissed and team senseis to give me the mission report," causing the Genins to leave the room while their senseis stayed behind. After all of the Genins left the office, Hashimi put her business face. "Now explain what happened." Uzumaki District. Naruto and Karen just arrived back to their clan district. However, Karen's eyes are twitching in annoyance because of Naruto, who was annoying her for the past 10 minutes. "Come on, Karen-nichan. Is it true you are going out with Yuto?" Naruto asked his clan member with a fox-like grin on his face, doing his best to annoy her like he always does. For the past 3 months, Naruto tried his best for Karen to tell him the truth. "Fine. Yes, me and Yuto-kun are going out. You happy now?" She snaps at Naruto with an annoyed look on her face, not noticing people's presence. This brought attention from other Uzumaki clan members as the children stops playing, staring at Karen like she went psycho. Some adults are amused seeing this, while rest of the adults hold back their laughter, and the elders mumbles about kids these days and back in my days. Finally noticing them, Karen's face turns bright red from embarrassment and frustration. She threw an annoyed look at Naruto, who still has that fox-like grin on his face, and went back to her house swearing prank revenge on Naruto. Naruto 53, Karen 30, he said, keeping the score. Going inside one of the house in the district, which happens to be where he and his mom live. "Ka-chan, I'm home," Naruto shouts throughout the 2-story house. Quickly, he was tackled by a red blur into the ground, which happens to be his mother, who looks just as young as the day he first saw her due to her Uzumaki lineage. "Ka-chan, I keep telling you not to tackle me," Naruto whines as he got up from the ground. "You should act more like an adult." Kushina pouts as she crosses her arms, listening to her son's lecture. "Hemph. I can be childish whenever I want, Naruto-chan." Inwardly, he rolled his eyes, seeing his mother's immaturity. Kushina's childish expression becomes mature as she hugged her son. "You know I missed you," she said. Whenever Naruto goes out of the land of whirlpools, she will immediately becomes worried for his safety. Even though she is healthy, she still suffers psychological trauma from her husband's death, forced comatose, and her son almost killed by Konoha people. Because of that, she is going through therapy to fix that problem, and so far it's progressing slowly. Separating Hug from his mother, Naruto was kind of tired from his mission since his team worked for 3 days. He decides to take a break for today. "Well, Ka-chan, I'm going to wash up and hit the bed," he said to his mother. Kushina smiled at her son, seeing his tired look, so she nodded her head and let him do his things. Few minutes later, Kushina hears the knock on her front door. Opening it, she was greeted by a whirl-nin. "Is today the council meeting?" Kushina said, knowing about the monthly meeting. "Kushina-san, the council requires your presence," a whirl said, and disappears, giving the message. Hearing this, Kushina quickly changed into her formal clothing and shunshin away to council, not wanting to waste time. Yuzu Council Chamber. Arriving outside of the council chamber, Kushina quickly made her way inside the room, seeing the clan heads, the Uzukage, and surprisingly Lady Koto herself. Now she is really curious and worried if Lady Koto is here. Being the Yuzukage sister, Kushina gets some privilege to know what is happening. So she sits at the empty seat as she observed what this meeting is going to be about. Seeing everyone's present, Hashimi looked back at Lady Kodo, who was fanning herself with Beshozen, as she also observed everyone with her critical eyes. Hitting the gavel, catching everyone's attention, Hashimi decides to start the monthly meeting. Thank you for coming to this important meeting. For our first topic, we are going to discuss about the fortress reconstruction at the Southland of Hot Water. Hashimi said. Based on the last report, majority of bandits and Jashin followers staying at that land are eliminated without getting other villages any interruption. The fortress reconstruction is 60% complete, and by the next 3 months the fortress will be complete and better than the previous one many years ago. Hashimi said, getting everyone to nod their heads. The reconstruction project at Land of Hot Water started last year as the Yuzu Council and Lady Kodo decided it was time for Yuzushigakure to come out from hiding. Their reason was that many hidden villages, including 5 great shinobi countries, are greatly weakened from their past wars and constant skirmishes. If Yuzushigakure comes back, it would be completely foolish for other hidden villages to wage war on them. Seeing no problem with that topic, she moves on to the next topic, which was a new village called Otogakure. Now for the next topic. A couple of days ago, Team 1 confronted hostile ninjas from an unknown village called Otogakure. At the end, Team 1 eliminated them without difficulty, and if you want more information, read the copy of the report in front of you. Hashimi said as everyone read the report. Enzo Huff reading the report. Really? They call themselves elite with half-assed skills. Still, it's best not to underestimate them, Tokiwa said. Does AIM know of their existence? Yuzukage-sama? Yukiko questioned, wanting to know if their ally has any additional information on Otogakure. Hashimi shook her head on Yukiko's question few days ago. I got a letter from Hanzo, and even he doesn't know about their existence, as Amigakure mainly focus on border skirmish with Konoha forces. For now it's best to spread our spy network to discover more about Otogakure, secure our borders at Land of Hot Water, and inform our forces if they ever find or engage them, she said, getting everyone to accept. She moved to next topic. The third topic is going to be about a border skirmish between AIM and Konoha forces, Hashimi said, reading the report. It's no surprise that Konoha is still at war with AIM at the southeast border, even though their ally forces, Suna and other minor villages, had completely withdrew their forces at the end of the Second Shinobi War since they suffered high casualties and economic problems. The same could be applied to IWA and their allies at northwest, as they too withdrew their forces. Right now, Konoha is the only hidden village at war against AIM. The main reasons why Konoha doesn't want to give up fighting is that Amigakure's location is between 3 of the 5 great shinobi countries, making it very vital to act as either a buffer zone or foothold for possible future war. In addition, AIM controls huge mineral deposits, including chakra metals, giving them high economic value to their nation. Overall, if AIM is conquered, there will be a major power shift throughout the continent. Are they still fighting? I mean, it has been like over 30 years, Malice said, raising one of her eyebrows. To save my time explaining, read the copy of the report, Third Yuzukage said as everyone read the next report. Interesting, if I'm reading this correctly, Konoha forces are slowly losing this war, as they lost a significant number of forces from their last skirmish against AIM forces, Malice said with critical look in her eyes. Oh man, 235 deaths and 385 injured ninjas is not really good for Konoha, while AIM suffer 76 deaths and 110 injured. Are they really that desperate? Enzo exclaims in surprise. Usually every skirmish ends up less than 50 deaths for both sides, but this skirmish is quite bloody. Also, Hanzo students participated in that skirmish, and without Konoha's 3 Sannin to back their forces, AIM won this battle by a landslide, Kushina said, joining in the conversation, knowing that Konoha cannot continue fighting this losing war. Since Konoha is the invader and AIM is just defending their home. So it's no surprise how pissed off AIM is, knowing invaders are trying to subjugate them. They have a good reason to fight with absolutely everything they have, Tokiwa added. Also, my spy informed me there are rumors of peace talk between the 3rd Hokage and Hanzo at the Land of Iron after the Tunin exams, Hashimi said, narrowing her eyes of this peace talk, suspecting Konoha might assassinate Hanzo. We will discuss that topic next month, since this information is based on rumor, getting everyone to accept and move on. Fourth topic is about the status with the rest of the great shinobi countries, Hashimi said, stressing great, knowing they only caused conflict and drag other minor countries into their fight. Together with the AIM and Yuzu spy network, they reported, IWA and Kumo are slowly building up their forces and economy they lost from previous wars. Suna is suffering from economic problem as their daimyo is outsourcing missions to Konoha. Kiri is still in middle of civil war, but I heard rumors that the rebel side is slowly winning with their leader, Mei Terumi, leading them. Hashimi explains briefly. If anyone wants to know more in detail, read the copy of the 124 pages report in front of you. Some clan heads groans hearing this, but it's their responsibility as council members and clan heads to be updated on current information. While Lady Koto smiled softly, being amused seeing their reaction. Hitting the gravel again for everyone to quiet down. The last topic is going to be about possibly sending our best genins, Sai, to participate in the Tunin exam as Konoha is hosting it this year, Hashimi said, getting everyone to go quiet in surprise, except Lady Koto, until they felt a heavy killing intent coming from Kushina herself. Kushina had a red aura around her as her red hair was flying wildly around her, similar to Kyubi's tail. Wani-san. What did you just said? She gave her twin sister a sweet smile on her face. Hashimi knew this would happen, so without breaking any sweat, she calmly responded to her twin sister. Before you act, just listen to what I have to say. Hearing this from her, Kushina took deep breath to calm herself before she do something irrational. Konoha is hosting the Tunin exam 2 months from now. This will be the perfect opportunity for us to gather further intelligence inside the village, especially the participants. We don't need to announce Yuzu's return to the rest of the villages yet until the fortress reconstruction is complete. However, we can hide our genin's identities by using Ronin status and a few disguises to participate in the exam. Hashimi said, getting some clan heads to think of the advantage. This wasn't the first time when wandering ninjas and samurais come to participate in the Tunin exams. Also, AIM is sending out their genins to participate, including Hanzo's granddaughter. This caused many of them to have a surprised look on their faces hearing Hanzo is sending his only granddaughter into enemy territory. Even though foreign nins participating in the Tunin exam are protected by international law, but it's still very risky that something might happen to them. Alright, we can discuss why Hanzo is sending his granddaughter later on. For now, we should vote if we should follow this plan, Hashimi said, quieting the council members. At the end, the clan heads and Kushina grudgingly accepted this idea, while Hashimi and Lady Koto are later going to decide and send letters about which genin will join the mission. Uzumaki District. Going inside her home, Kushina released a sigh of both exhaustion and fear mixed together. She is really worried that her son will be picked for the upcoming mission and hoped they didn't choose him. Still, if Naruto is selected, I don't know how he will react, she thought, until she sees a small red fox size of a house cat with 9 tails calmly walk to her. That's right, everyone, this is Kyubi no Yoko, or Kurama as its real name is. After Kushina and Naruto were rescued, Lady Koto and the other Fuinjutsu masters looked at Naruto's seal, for symbol's seal, to make sure everything was done correctly. At the end, they discovered 3 foreign chakras deep inside young Naruto. The first chakra was obviously Yankurama, second chakra was Minato Namikaze, and the third chakra was Kaguya Otsutsuki. Finding this, Lady Koto released Kurama without harming the host, as she wanted to beat the living shit out of the fox for having a big ego and breaking her favorite teacup hundreds of years ago. Bringing the fox into an isolated dimension for punishment, it only took her a couple of minutes to make Kurama submit and apologize for its mistakes. After years of close observation, Kurama respects Naruto for not being arrogant, obsessively power-hungry, or any other negative traits. Right now, Kurama just lays around, play with kids, enjoys irritating Kushina, and helps Naruto to control its chakra. In addition, Kurama can freely go back inside Naruto's seal for Naruto to train in using its chakra. Right now, Naruto can only control 4 tails before going berserk. However, after a few more years of training, Naruto will be able to fully control all 9 tails without going berserk. The second chakra belonged to Minato Namikaze, was acting as safeguard if Kyubi no Yoko influenced his son into releasing the seal. Lady Koto released Minato from the Dead Demon Consuming Seal by using Dead Demon Consuming Seal release as he went to the Pure Land. Before his departure, he said his final farewell to his lovely wife and son. Finally, Azura Otsutsuki's chakra/soul was taken out of Naruto since Lady Kodo is the founder of the Uzumaki clan, and he had no right to interfere with her clan and plans. Right now, Azura's chakra/soul is sealed inside a special container covered with complex fuinjutsu seals, preventing his escape. Lady Kodo had placed the container somewhere secure. "What do you want, Kurama?" Kushina said, seeing the small fox with bored look on its face. "Don't you have better things to do than lazing around?" Kurama scoffed at its formal host. "I'm not always lazy, you crazy women. As you can see, I'm always busy." Hearing what the fox said, her eye twitched in annoyance. Hearing "crazy lady," she wasn't crazy. "Explain to me how licking your nether regions makes you busy?" She mocked, causing Kurama to have shock look on its face until its face turned in anger. "What the fuck? Where did you get that idea from, tomato?" Kurama shouted at Kushina. Hearing the forbidden word, tomato, she was about to start a fight with the fox until both hears an irritated voice behind them. "What is going on here, you two?" Naruto said with an annoyed look on his face, waking up from their shouts. "Can't you guys get along?" Getting "hell no/never" from both of them, making him shake his head. This was a normal thing for both Kushina and Kurama to start their argument or fights. "Try to keep your voice down before the neighbors get angry again. I'm going back to be dash." He was interrupted hearing a knock from the front door. Seeing it's 11:45 p.m., both Naruto and Kurama wonders who it was this late at night. Kushina's body tense and widen her eyes in fear, assuming who might this be. Naruto opens the front door, where he was greeted by Whirlnin holding a small red envelope with the Uzukage seal on it. Naruto-san, nodding his head in reply, "Go to the Uzukage's office tomorrow by 6 a.m. Do not be late." Giving the envelope to Naruto, the messenger shunshin away. Thud. Both Naruto and Kurama looks back and sees Kushina on the floor unconscious from the shock. "Ka-chan!" Naruto shouts in worry as he went to his mother. Kurama went next to Naruto, wondering what is going on, while hiding the worried look on its face. The next day things will become a lot more interesting. Chapter 5. New Team and Chunin Exam. Uzushiogakure. Next day, Naruto made his way to the Uzukage's office with a determined look on his face about what he heard from his mother last night after she had woken up from her unconsciousness. Flashback. Last night, Naruto is looking at his mother with a shocked look on his face after she explained the upcoming mission. For Kushina, she had a business look on her face, but her eyes were different, as her eyes were filled with fear. After a couple minutes of silence, Naruto broke the ice. "So, I'm chosen to infiltrate and gather intelligence at Konoha during the Chunin exam?" Naruto mumbles as he scratches his head in slight frustration and nervousness. "I knew one day this would happen, but this is kind of too soon." Sigh. Kushina took a deep breath and released it as she calmed down. "You don't need to do this mission, Naruchan," Kushina said. "I can talk to Hashimi to change her mind, since you are heir to the Uzumaki clan, or I can dash." "I will do it," Naruto said with commitment. "I don't want someone else to take my responsibilities, and I need to face my past if I want to move on, Ka-chan." Then he gave her his fox-like smile. "Besides, if I want to become the Uzukage, I need to become a fearless and responsible leader, Databeo." Hearing her son's decision, her mind was in complete conflict. On one side, she is still a protective mother, not wanting her son to endanger himself, especially going back to Konoha. On the other side, she was damn proud of him, of how much he grew up, his determination to never giving up, and his dream to become the next Uzukage. Kushina closed her eyes and slowly opens them, showing that her eyes that were filled with fear minutes ago was now filled with complete trust and faith in her son. I will trust your decision, Naruchan, and do your best," she said, hugging her son. Flashback end. He smiled, remembering about last night. He doesn't like giving someone else his responsibilities. Shaking his head to get out of his thoughts, he made his way inside the Uzukage's office after he showed the guards and secretary his letter and ID. Going inside, he was surprised to see Haku and Shizuka standing at attention like proper and proud kunoichi. Good thing he arrived early. Were they selected too? He thought, remembering that he will go with 2 other genin with him. Standing between his friends, he saluted to the Uzukage. "Genin Naruto, Uzumaki member from Team 1 reporting for duty, Uzukage-sama," he said with a business look on his face. Good, as you can see, all of you are very familiar with each other and knows what your next assignment will be, Hashimi said, receiving nods from them. From now on, all three of you will be under a new team called Ronin during that mission. In addition, your team will not have any sensei leading you, since Ronin basically means no lords or masters. So one of you will lead the team. Are there any questions? She finishes her explanation. Haku raised her hand, making the Uzukage nod her head at her. Can I choose Naruto Uzumaki to lead the Ronin team? Hearing her exclamation, Shizuka also raised her hand, to which Hashimi nodded her head to her to say something. I agree with Haku-san that Naruto Uzumaki will be the perfect candidate to lead this team, Shizuka said, fully trusting in Naruto's leadership and skills. Hashimi wasn't surprised hearing them wanting her nephew to lead the Ronin team. Looking back, her nephew's record is actually above proficient, as he excelled on many subjects and he was the previous school president, making him a very reliable person to lead the team. Hell, he is a natural-born leader. Do you agree to be the leader of your new team? She asks Naruto. If both of my team members fully accept me as team leader, then I accept that position, Naruto said in confidence. This wasn't the first time he has led a team, as his sensei gave him that responsibility on some of their missions. Nodding her head in satisfaction, she decides to explain why they were chosen for this type of mission. As you can see, I choose the three of you for specific reasons, Hashimi said, catching their attention. Naruto Uzumaki, with his abilities, will be perfect to act as strategist, vanguard, and censor. Next, Hakuyuki will act as a tracking, medicine, and support. For Shizuka Nadeshiko, she will act as a weapon specialist, trapping, and vanguard. All three genin nod their heads, understanding their positions. For Haku, she just started her medicine training, where she just learned the basic, but by next month she will complete basic level. I want all of you to train well for the next 2 months starting tomorrow, but for today take a short break. Dismissed, Hashimi said as the genin left the office without any questions. Cafe 30 minutes later. Both Team 1 and 2 are hanging out at their favorite spot as they socialize with each other. This started back at the academy and it became a tradition for them to hang out here. Currently, all 6 genin are eating their strawberry parfait as they talk with each other. What? No fair, you 3 are chosen to compete in the Tunin exam. Yuto whines, wanting to compete in the Tunin exam as well. Naruto, Haku, and Shizuka all shrugged their shoulders as they continued eating their parfait. Yuto-kun, they are not really competing in the Tunin exam. Their main purpose is to gather more intelligence inside a foreign village, Karen said, and looks at Naruto with concern. Seeing Karen's worried look, Naruto gave her small smile. Don't worry about me, Karen-chan. I can take care of myself. Naruto-kun, what if Konoha finds out your real identity? Ryuka said, hiding her concern. For them to discover my real identity is very low, because it's been years for them to remember my appearance, and they cannot break any international law unless they want political backslash on them, Naruto explained to his friends with calm look on his face. Besides, I have awesome teammates to back me up, and I'm currently working on a very important technique. Both Haku and Shizuka developed small blush on their faces hearing Naruto praising them, while others became interested hearing important technique. Everyone became slightly curious hearing important technique, until Ryuka asks the question. What is this important technique you're working on, Naruto-kun? The atmosphere around Naruto instantly becomes serious. Looking around, he sees no one dropping on their conversation, where he immediately focused back to his friends. Leaning forward, he opens his mouth to say something until, burp! All of his friends' face fault while Naruto laughs at them in amusement. Ha ha ha! I got all of you good. He wiped tears from his eyes until he stops feeling heavy killing intent directed at him. Looking at the source, he wasn't surprised to find the killing intent coming from his friends with tick marks on their foreheads and sadistic smile on their faces. Naruto-kun, all of his female friends said at the same time, preparing to punish him while Yuto cracks his knuckles. Putting his hands up in defense, he tries to calm his friends before things get out of control. Whoa, I was just joking. Calm down, guys. Mercy, he said as he slowly moves away from them. Let's just say they ended up repairing the cafe as their punishment. Konoha Gate 2 months later. 3 figures made their way to Konoha as they slowly walked towards the tall wooden gate. One of the figures doesn't carry any weapon, while 2 of them each carried a katana on their side. but all of them has several storage scrolls with them. Their choice of clothing can only be described as unique, as they all wear face masks covering their lower mouths, black hoods covering their heads including a hidden radio earpiece and hidden camera, and their armors are similar to shinobi battle armor, except theirs had some adjustments to improve upon the previous design. This is the Ronin team who just successfully arrived at Konoha without any problems. Look alive team. We are coming closer to the entrance, Naruto whispers to his teammates from his earpiece. I sense 4 ninjas hiding behind the trees around us. I believe they are ANBUnins based on the way they are concealing their presence. It's common for an ANBU squad to be stationed at the main gate due to many foreigners coming in for visiting, trading, or special events. Hearing this, neither Haku or Shizuka panic since they did not want to earn suspicion from the ANBU squad. As they finally made it to the gate, they saw a line of people trying to get inside the village, and some of them are foreign ninjas who came to compete in the Tunin exam. Standing behind a genin team from Kusagakyur, then the Kusa team inspect Team Ronin hiding their curious and anxious looks trying to study the unknown team. Who the hell are you? One of the Kusa genin said in rough voice. Naruto raised one of his eyebrows in amusement. Well, isn't he asking nicely, he thought in sarcasm. From what I can sense from them, they all have high genin chakra reserves and I can see them having standard weapons. Threat level low. We are Team Ronin competing for the Chunin exam and you guys are. Haku responds trying to get their team name as she got the picture of the Kusa team. We are Team Shiror from Kusagakyur and this is rare to see 3 Ronin not affiliated to any village competing. Ha! Let's see how far you guys can survive. A masked Kusagenin replied in arrogance. While this was going on, the third Kusagenin, who has black hair wearing a straw hat, silently observed Team Ronin. A few minutes later, Team Ronin made it to the entrance guarded by 2 Chunin gate guards who has bored looks on their faces. After showing them their ID cards, fake, they went inside the village. Konoha. The village was bustling with activity as the villagers are making preparation for the Chunin event. Team Ronin was walking around the village as they saw more foreign genin teams around. This is a backwater village, Shizuka commented, seeing the foreign hidden village. It's no surprise they didn't improve much because of the constant fighting with other villages. The same thing can be applied to other nations, Haku said to her friend. First, I want both of you to find us a hotel for us to stay while I go to the registration office to sign us up, Naruto said, receiving nods from his teammates, and went their separate ways. 1 hour later. After signing up his team, he hears a sound of kids yelling close by. So being curious, he follows the sound. Turning from the corner, he sees a boy wearing a Asuna forehead protector as he is holding a kid by his shirt. On the side, he sees Asuna Kunoichi watching while 2 other kids and a pink-haired girl stood by with worried looks on their faces. First, he observes the Sunanins. Looking closely at the male Sunanin, Naruto raised one of his eyebrows in amusement seeing what he is wearing. Is he seriously wearing a kiddie suit and face paint on his face? He looks like a kabuki actor, he thought, from what he carries. I might assume he is a puppeteer since Sunagakyur are famous for their puppets, wind, and sand techniques. His chakra reserve is close to high genin level and I think he is mid-range fighter. Threat level low. Taking a picture of the Sunanin, he shifts his attention to next person who is Asuna Kunoichi who has a bored look on her face. Let's see, from what I see she carries a large fan on her back, clearly she specializes in wind release making her mid and long range fighter. Her chakra reserve is low Chunin level. Threat level mid. He thought, secretly taking a photo of the blonde Suna Kunoichi, then looked at the next group. I can ignore the little kids. For the pink-haired girl, she is Konohanin with that forehead protector. She lacks physical strength nor does carries any special weapons aside from the standard ones. She is clearly a rookie. Her chakra reserve is low genin level. Threat level low. He thought until he caught more on his sensor. Looking up, he sees 2 on the tree while the black-haired boy didn't notice a red-haired boy behind him. Few trees away from them, he sensed 3 more somewhere within the tree hiding. For the 3 unknown presence, he cannot see them, but he can sense 2 of them to have mid-genin chakra reserves and third to have high genin chakra reserve. Oh, more contestants. I can't take photos on those 3 unknown, but I will remember their chakras, Naruto thought as he took pictures of 2 boys at the tree with his hidden camera. Looking at the black-haired boy, He can see he wears a Konoha forehead protector indicating him to be a Konohanin. Naruto sees he doesn't carry any special weapons except having standard weapons with him. Well, his reserve is at least Haigenin and his surrounding clearly screams arrogance and emo. Threat level low, he thought dryly. Then he looks at the red-haired boy. From his forehead protector, he must be the last team member from Suna. Huh? He must have strong back to carry a large gourd all day? From what I can guess, it must be Sand User making him most dangerous within the team. He thought until his eyes widen in surprise what he can sense from him. Well, I'll be damned. His chakra reserve is low Jonin and I can sense something dangerous inside of him. My best guess is that he must have trained his ass off or he is a Jinchuriki. Maybe he carries the one tail considering Suna has the one tail in their possession. Threat level high. I have so many questions, but I can think about that later. He decides to observe what is going on. Hey, let me go. A kid yells at the Sunanin who was holding him up. Brat, you're the one who bumped into me. I will make you pay for that, the Suna shinobi said as he readied to hit the kid. Please put him down. It was an accident, pink-haired girl said as she has no clue how to handle this situation. Kankuro, we don't have time to fool around. Hurry up before Gaara shows up. Suna Kunoichi said without trying to stop her teammate's actin. This will be quick, Temari, Kankuro said, tightening his grip. Well, time for me to make my entrance, Naruto thought, where he picked up a piece of rock and threw it at the Suna's hand, making him drop the kid onto the ground. Ow! What the? Who threw that? Kankuro yells, rubbing his hand as he looks around. Coming out from his hiding place, Naruto waved at them. What is going on around here? He questioned with an interested look on his face. Well, if you want to be thrown out of the exam, please continue. Temari noticed the hidden warning as she elbowed her partner. Grumbling, he dropped the kid on the ground. The kid kicked his leg and ran with the other children. Who the hell are you? Kankuro shouted at Naruto as he grabbed a bandage container from his back, but was stopped by Temari not wanting to cause more trouble. Before I introduce myself, will the hidden spectators come out from their hiding places? Yes, including you three, Naruto said, looking at the unknown team with narrowed eyes. The unknown team flinch, they have surprised looks on their faces at being found. They quickly fled, not wanting to reveal themselves and ruin their master's plan. Tch, they left, Naruto mumbled, sensing them gone. A black-haired boy came down from the tree with a scowl on his face over being found, and he scowls further when he found a red-haired boy was behind him this whole time. Jigara, Kankuro said a bit fearfully. Kankuro, Gaara replied dryly, You're a disgrace to our village. They started it, Kankuro replied as he took one step back in fear. Shut up or I'll kill you, Gaara said coldly, while looking at Kankuro, who flinched hearing that. Even Temari was scared as she kept her mouth shut and focused on the ground, not wanting to look at Gaara. Naruto clapped his hand, bringing everyone's attention. Well, enough with threat to your own teammate. Now to answer your question, my name is Erashur, a wandering ronin who wants to participate in the Chunin exam, and you guys are? Naruto said, giving his false name. He wasn't stupid to give his information to strangers, besides, like his sensei always said, information is vital. We are Team Baki from Sunagakure. My name is Temari. That idiot over there is my brother Kankuro, completely ignoring glare from Kankuro. The last one is Gaara, our little brother. She finished introducing her team. Then a black-haired boy decided to introduce themselves, not wanting to be left out. HN, we are Team 7 from Konohagakure. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke said, stressing his last name. This is Sakura. Haruno points at Sakura, where her eyes turn into heart-like shape. So he's an Uchiha. To be honest, he looks like he has a rusty pole shoved up to his ass, Naruto thought, since he read a history book about how majority of the Uchiha behave. Suddenly Sakura took out her kunai, making a threatening pose as possible. Stop, as Konohanin. You are trespassing Konohagakure without a pass. Temari snort, seeing Sakura weak threat. You must be stupid or deaf, not hearing what the Ronin said earlier about the Chunin exam. Chunin exam? Sakura questioned, lowering her kunai while Sasuke listened as he looks at the foreign genin trying to study them. Temari rolls her eyes, not believing they don't know this. They are just fresh out of academy. It's where genin compete against each other in order for them to reach Chunin rank, Naruto explained to them. Sakura nodded her head, understanding it. For Sasuke, this was a perfect opportunity to test his abilities against other genin and unlock his Sharingan. Finally, more worthy opponents to test my skills unlike my useless classmates. He thought with a smirk on his face that Erasure and Gaara are strong. If I beat them, I'm one step closer to killing Itachi. Naruto raised his eyebrows, sensing negative emotion from Sasuke, but focused his attention to them. Well, I stayed too long. See you at the exam, Naruto said, walking away until he was stopped by small killing intent directed at him. Looking behind, he saw it was Gaara, who was leaking killing intent with murder-like grin on his face. You're strong, mother wants your blood, Gaara said coldly. This caused both Sunanin to flinch and Konohanin to have confused look on their faces. Save that for Chunin exam, Naruto said, walking away. I have to keep my eyes on Gaara and warn my team to try and avoid him when it comes to a fight. Naruto thought, walking back to the hotel where the rest of his teammates are stay. Hokage's office. Hiruzen was working on his paperwork while he has many things going on inside his head until he pinched the bridge of his nose from complete stress. It didn't help his office had to be reconstructed ever since the traitor, Mizuki, had taken the Forbidden Scroll and somehow triggered the explosion trap, completely destroying his office, killing Mizuki and causing the Forbidden Scroll to be destroyed. The council wasn't very pleased to find one of their national treasure was somehow destroyed. Heck, even Danzo didn't look so happy as he wanted to execute the traitor himself. How did this all go so wrong? I keep telling the councils that continuing the war with AIM will only cause more harm to us. Now look what happened in the last skirmish where Konoha lost 235 good ninjas, 385 gravely injured, and stockpiles. He sighed in complete exhaustion. Hiruzen had worked his best wanting peace between his village and AIM, but due to majority vote from the civilian councils, elders, and Danzo that peace will never be achieved. After the Chunin exam is over, I need to arrange a meeting with Hanzo for peace and screw the council's vote. I'm the Hokage. Looking at the latest spy reports from Jiraiya, he rubbed his chin reading the reports. From Jiraiya-kun's report, a new village called Otogekure came out where it's run by an unknown Kage. However, he cannot find the exact location where the village is located except it's somewhere throughout the Land of Sound. So far, my ANBU informed me only one team from that village is participating in the exam. I need to inform this to rest of the councils later on. He thought, smoking his pipe in deep thought. Discovering a new village popping out can cause tension for rest of 5 great shinobi countries as they want the new village to ally, trade, or eliminate them. Picking up the next report, he exhaled the smoke while he was thinking AIM just finished securing their border after Konoha forces had to make a full retreat back to the border for safety. 30 years of fighting and we cannot secure any outpost. That war is like never-ending tug of war where we gain part of their land and we lose it the next day. So far, Jiraiya-kun cannot infiltrate AIM, not wanting to risk being found and fighting Hanzo. Peace is the only option as the other village are recovering from their losses. He then picked up the next report, making his heart sink. So far, no signs of Naruto-kun. He thought this search had been going on for years as it always ends up negative. For now, I have a Chunin exam to worry about. His thought was interrupted when his assistant brought in a paper containing the foreign participants. Thank you, he said to his assistant as he looked through the participants with critical eyes until he stopped at Team Ronin, raising one of his eyebrow in slight interest. Interesting, it's been a while for Ronin to participate in the Chunin exam, but if I remember correctly, many didn't make it to second part of the exam, he said as he looks at rest of participants and stops at Team Dosu with narrow look on his face. So this is Odo team. I will need to find out more about their Kage. Skimming through other teams, he saw another teams that caught his interest. AIM are sending their genin teams. I hope none of my forces will not blindly attack them from their grudge. He thought in worried, not wanting his ninja to break any international treaty. Putting the paper away, he turns around to enjoy the view of his village. I have a feeling this Chunin exam will be full of surprises. Konoha's hotel. Naruto is inside the hotel room with rest of his teammates after they secured the room with seals. This is all I gathered from other teams, but I want to point out that Gaara is the biggest threat here, and I have already planned 6 different ways to defeat him. The best method to defeat him is to use Fuinjutsu like the 5-element seal that can block or disturb the user's chakra flow, Naruto explained to his teammates. I agree with you, Naruto-kun. His sand might be difficult. However, with water techniques, I can momentarily halt his offense and defense, Haku adds, making Naruto to nod his head. If I ever face him, I can just seal him inside this bad boy, Shizuka said with small smile as she taps the giant scroll covered with complex locks. Alright, now, what did you guys gathered so far? Naruto said, wanting to know if his team got any additional information while he was gone. I got plenty of information from Uchiha fangirls where they babbled he is the last loyal Uchiha after the massacre was done by Itachi Uchiha. Shizuka said she internally scoffed why they added the title loyal. It sounds as if they expect the boy to stay loyal to Konoha. Both Naruto and Haku have confused looks on their faces hearing this information. They aren't stupid. Something is obviously wrong about that situation. Uchiha massacre done by one person? Isn't it weird how every single Uchiha except Sasuke were all gathered at the clan district and killed without alerting a single ANBU patrol? Naruto said, not completely believing this story. Even Haku didn't accept this story. One of my theory is that I speculate this massacre was done as an inside job by someone within the Konoha government. But the question is, why commit the massacre on the clan that is the bulk of the village military power? Unless the clan has committed a severe crime. She said, I advise to inform the council about this when we get back. Okay. Tomorrow is going to be the start of the Tunin exam, and I want all of us to hold back our power unless we are in grave danger. Naruto order, making Haku and Shizuka nod their heads in understanding. We leave at 8 a.m. in the morning to take the exam. So be prepared, and rest you dash. He was interrupted when there was a knock on the front door. Team Ronin look at each other, not expecting a guest. Naruto made a signal for his teammates to hide in the room, taking out their weapons, ready to strike, while he summoned a shadow clone to open the door, not taking any chances. Slowly opening the door, he was greeted by a 5-foot-tall, long purple-haired girl with a triangular fringe at the front, blue eyes, hourglass figure, and developing D-cup breasts. She wears a standard ninja clothing with armors for extra protection, aim forehead protector tied on her right shoulder, and she wielded a purple sheath katana, causing him to tense, sensing the danger from the blade. Overall, she is a beautiful and obviously dangerous girl. Sensing no danger coming from her, he decided to start the conversation with the unknown girl. Who are you? Naruto clone said, trying his best not to blush from the way she smiles at him, much to Haku and Shizuka's anger. Hi, my name is Siko from Amige Cure, may I come in? Siko said cheerfully. If you're worried about the people eavesdropping, I already handled it and I won't attack you. Slowly she leaned close to the clone where she whispered playfully. I'm sure we are allies, aren't we, Naruto? Widening his eyes, he opened the door, letting Siko inside without being spotted. Closing the door, the clone reactivate the seal. The real Naruto comes out from his hiding, not too pleased how she discovered his real identity. Seriously, who are you? I know AIM is allied with my village, and how did you know about us? He said with a frown on his face, not happy about being discovered. Tisk, TSK, you better calm down, handsome boy, she said playfully, then she felt slight killing intent directed at her. Before I answer your questions, I want the two of your teammates to come out from hiding, Siko said, wagging her finger at Naruto. Naruto signaled his friends to come out, who were glaring at Siko for certain reason. To answer your questions, my name is Siko and I'm the granddaughter of Hanzo the Salamander. Only I know who you guys are because my grandfather told me, Siko explains. Team Ronin have shocked looks on their faces hearing this. It was until Siko tossed 2 scrolls to Naruto, which he caught. Opening the first one, he read it quickly, to which he slightly widened his eyes. Alright, this is going to be a joint mission with us and Siko-san, Naruto said, as he read the second scroll where he smirks at Siko. Not bad, you already got half of the participants' information. How did you get all of this information? He asked, curious. I already contacted my informant and let's just leave it at that, she said with Cheshire smile on her face. She got up ready to leave, seeing her business here is done. Naruto deactivate the security to let Siko leave, but before she left she went to Naruto where she quickly kissed him on his cheek, shocking Naruto, while the 2 of his teammates released killing intent directed at her. See you later, Naruto-kun. After she left, Naruto suddenly feels Ki from behind him. Slowly turning around, he sees Haku taking out her senbon and Shizuka twirling her kunai. Both of them have sweet smiles on their faces, making him sweat even further. What was that, Naruto-kun? Haku said as she took out a few more senbons and getting closer to Naruto. Now girls, I was totally caught off guard with what she did, he said, trying his best to calm them down. Then why did you let her kiss you, or were you too busy ogling her body? Shizuka demanded, coming closer to Naruto with a dangerous glint in her eyes. Naruto stuttered, not knowing what to say. On that night, he slept on the couch with injuries while his teammates slept on their comfortable beds. Chapter 6, Chunin Exam Part 1. Konoha Academy, 8:15 a.m. Arriving at the entrance of Konoha Academy, Team Ronin made their way inside as they quietly passed the other participants, already knowing information provided by Siko yesterday. Once inside the room, Team Ronin saw a group of genin being blocked by two Chunins disguised as genin and a genjutsu placed around the room. What kind of half-assed henge is that? Shizuka thought, internally scoffing at their poor genjutsu attempt. So those two are testing them to see if they are worthy of taking this exam. Naruto mused as his teammates silently watched this. He then looks at the stairway, seeing the AIM teams making their way to the third floor, already knowing where the true exam starts at. AIM teams are going ahead. Should we follow? Haku whispers in her earpiece. Negative, we should stay here little longer to gather further information. Who knows what other information we missed? Naruto responded back in his earpiece without any hesitation. Seeing Siko's team and other AIM teams walking upstairs to third floor, she quickly glanced at Team Ronin and focused back to the real entrance. Let AIM do their thing while we do ours. Siko's work saved a lot of time for us to gather. Naruto whispers, making his teammates nod their heads. Suddenly they heard the sound of dispute, seeing a guy with large eyebrows on the ground being kicked by one of the disguised genin. I remember he is a member from Team Guy who specialize in close quarters combat. I believe his name was Rock Lee from what I read. His fashion sense is weird and he has the biggest bushy eyebrows I have ever seen. Naruto thought in surprise. Never in his life had he witnessed someone with such bad fashion sense and large eyebrows. Then he narrowed his eyes, seeing two other members from Team Guy, and it was obvious that they are doing this on purpose. The girl next to him is Tenten, who is a weapon specialist, Rock Lee is a taijutsu specialist, and Niji Hyuga is another taijutsu specialist. They are trying to misdirect other participants that are entering. At least they knows what they're doing. He then decided to sense their chakra reserve, where both Tenten and Niji are high genin level, concluding them as threat level low and Lee to have low genin level. But from the report, his taijutsu was impressive, making him threat level mid. You're taking the Chunin exams and you can't even get past us? Why don't you just give up now before you get hurt, rookies? A disguised genin said, clearly mocking the other participants in front of him. Yeah, turn around and go home, this is no place for amateurs. Another disguised genin added. Please let us through, we're supposed to go in there. Tenten pleaded, picking up Lee from the floor. Sensing an additional team coming inside, Naruto focused his attention and raised his single eyebrow, seeing Team 7 coming in. Interesting, Naruto thought, looking at the pale boy. I can tell he is the most experienced member on that team. His chakra reserve is low Chunin, threat level mid. He then took a picture at that pale boy. That's Team 7, they specialize in direct combat and open assault. The team consists of Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Sai. Haku explained with blank look on her face as she studied Team 7. Haku had spent couple of hours reading Siko's report last night. Shizuka looks at her friend with wide eyes, hearing what Haku just said. You joking? Konoha is sending a fresh genin team with their last Uchiha. Is Konoha's leader sending them to an early grave? It wasn't unheard of for unwanted genin to be sent off into battle unprepared, especially if those genin were a part of an undesirable faction. Haku shakes her head in negative. No, I believe Konoha is trying to flex their military power towards their clients and foreign villages. In addition, Konoha is sending all of their clan heirs and heiresses who just graduated months ago. Quiet. I want to listen what they are saying, Naruto whispers to his teammates, making them silent. Drop the genjutsu on that door. It's obvious this isn't the third floor, Sasuke said with smirk on his face. Then he looks at Sakura. Go ahead, tell them you seen through it. I'm sure you saw it before anyone else did. While this was going on, Team Ronin resisted urge to groan aloud and facepalm from the Uchiha's stupidity. That idiot just made a rookie mistake, Naruto said, shaking his head in disappointment. Let's just go, I'm done with this stupid charade. Quietly, they made their way to the third floor, ignoring the other genin. Their silent exit was only noticed by Niji and Sai, who narrowed their eyes, following on the Ronins. Third floor. As they made their way to third floor, they saw a silver-haired jonin reading a orange book, giggling as he minded his own business. Seeing this particular jonin ahead, Naruto stiffened his body slightly, already knowing who that man is. Damn it, that's Kakashi of the Sharingan. One of Konoha's elite ninja and last of my father's students. If he ever finds out my identity, he will do anything to capture me for the sake of the village. He thought, hiding his distressed expression and avoiding making any eye contact. Kakashi looks up from his book, seeing Team Ronin walking towards him where he let them pass by. He looks at them closely, but shrugs his shoulders as he re-engage reading his orange book, making him giggle. What's taking them so long? Kakashi mused, waiting for his cute genins for over 20 minutes. Opening the door, Team Ronin sees many of the participants, except the AIM teams, looking at his team with their pathetic glares and weak killing intent. Haku and Shizuka shrug off their weak attempts to intimidate them, while Naruto glares at them with cold eyes promising pain and death. His glare caused many of the teams to freeze from fear, making them avert their eyes from Team Ronin and a few to piss in their pants. Ignoring them, Naruto sees the rest of the Konoha teams, and from Siko's report he wasn't surprised to see all of them to have anxious look on their faces. Plainly, all of them are inexperienced. Some of them have low and mid-genin chakra reserves and carry standard weapons. Threat level low. Naruto thought. He raised one of his eyebrows when he sees what the Akimichi's heir wore on his head. Is he wearing a blue panty on his head? Looking around, he sees Team Baki from yesterday standing in the corner as they too studied the other participants. When the three Sand siblings sees Erasure, Naruto, Gaara gave him a bloodthirsty smile, making him give Gaara his fox-like smile in return, which caused Gaara to smile wider. In the other corner, he sees AIM's teams with an indifferent look on their faces, except Siko, who is whispering to 4 different team leaders, Oboro, Shigure, Suiyu, and Samidare, like a field commander going to battle. Sensing another strong participant, he sees a silver-haired boy wearing a Konoha forehead protector playing with his deck of cards. Suspicious, he's trying to suppress his chakra reserve. Unlucky for him, he cannot hide from my sensor ability, Naruto thought, taking a picture. He then focused on that genin, wanting to find his true reserve. In few seconds, he found it, making him raise his eyebrows. Interesting, his chakra reserve is actually high Tunin level. Threat level mid. Then he sensed familiar chakras from yesterday. Looking at the back, he frowned, seeing familiar musical symbols on their forehead protectors. He found a team from Otogakure. Guys, we got a team from Otogakure. 2 of them have mid-genin level and that mummy guy have high genin level. They will be labeled as threat level medium. Haku, take a picture of that team ASAP and keep your eyes on them, Naruto whispers to his teammates, making them nod their heads. Continuing his search, he ignored other teams that didn't catch his attention until he tensed, sensing something strong, dark, and foul somewhere in this room. His instinct screams at him that someone dangerous is close by. Looking around, he pinpoints the source and sees Team Shiror from yesterday. Narrowing his eyes, he finally found the source and widened his eyes in surprise when a black-haired Kusagenin, who was supposed to have high genin level, suddenly now have Kage level chakra reserve. He quickly made that Kusanin to be threat level high. What the hell? I know that Kusagenin did not immediately increase his reserve in one day. Even those 2 teammates have low Tunin reserve. I can only guess they must have held back from yesterday's meeting, or there's someone else. Naruto thought, making him frown. He informed his teammates what he sensed, making them widen their eyes. Looking at AIM's team again, or more specifically Siko, Naruto can see that Siko looked tense where she eyed Team Shiror, or specifically Shiror. She gripped on her purple sheath katana, ready to fight. Even Siko noticed that team's aura. I hope she informs the rest of her team to keep a safe distance from both Kusa and Suna team. His thought was interrupted when he heard the sound of the front door opening, making everyone to see another participant walking in. Looking at the entrance, he wasn't surprised to see Team 7 coming in. He noticed how Sasuke looked pretty beaten up and had a scowl on his face. I bet that Uchiha challenged someone earlier? He thought, knowing how Uchihas like to challenge others to a fight. Sasuke-kun Ino jump at Sasuke, glomping his right arm. Her action caused Sakura to yell at Ino, making a scene for everyone else to watch. One of Haku's eyebrows twitch in annoyance seeing this display. "Great, they are fangirls just like someone else I know," she said, blankly staring at Shizuka. Shizuka noticed what Haku said and glared at her, not liking the comparison. "Shut up. I'm not like them and I take my training seriously," Shizuka growled at her friend. "Break it up, you two," Naruto interrupted, making them quite knowing this isn't the time nor the place to fool around. Naruto looks at the Konoha teams, seeing the silver-haired boy from earlier talking to Konoha teams. Using his enhanced hearing, he hears the silver-haired boy introduce himself as Kabuto Yakushi, who failed the Chunin exam 7 times, and has participants' informations with his ninja info cards. As an act of goodwill, he then informs Konoha rookies on certain participants. Naruto decides to listen more as he focused on his hearing. "I want information on Gaara of the Desert, Rock Lee of the Leaf, and Erashur, a wandering Ronin," Sasuke orders. "Man, that's no fun. You even know their names. That makes it easy," Kabuto said, taking out 3 cards. "Show it to me," Sasuke said, gazing at the cards like a piece of rare steak. "Okay. First up is Rock Lee, a year older than you guys. Mission experience 11 C ranks and 20 D ranks completed. His squad leader is Guy, and last 12 months his taijutsu radically improved, but his other skills not so much. His teammates are Tenten and Niji Hyuga," Kabuto said, taking out a second card. "Now for Gaara of the Desert. Mission experience 8 C ranks and 1 B rank completed. There's not a lot of information on him, but all I know is that he survived every mission without getting a scratch on him," he said, making some Konoha members get a very shocked look on their faces hearing this. "Finally, Erashur, a wandering Ronin. Huh?" Kabuto paused, looking at his card. "Sorry. I don't have much information on Erashur and his team." Naruto, Haku, Shizuka, and Siko narrowed their eyes in suspicion. A genin like him being informative on other participants, including a foreigner, is not normal. "He must be a spy," they all concluded. Taking out another card, he showed a map showing list of villages. All of these villages send their skilled candidates for this exam, especially Amigakure, who are currently at war with Konoha, he said, shocking many of the Konoha genins that didn't know about the war with Amigakure. What, we are at war? Then what are they doing here? Aren't they the enemy?" Sakura said, pointing her finger at AIM teams. Looking at Sakura, he adjusted his glasses. Even during the war, foreign villages can send their candidates to participate in the Chunin exam under heavy observation, but those are extremely rare cases. If the hosting village intentionally attack, capture, or kill foreign participants during the exam, that village will suffer from international treaty. "Trust me, the outcome will not be pretty," Kabuto explains, as everyone heard his explanation. Still, many Konoha genins has confused looks on their faces that their village is currently at war with Amigakure. Wasn't the Third Shinobi War the last war Konoha fought? Troublesome. How come we didn't heard about this, and when did this war occurred? Shikamaru asked, staring at the AIM teams, thinking of plans to beat them. Even his father, Shikaku, who is a Jonin commander, didn't inform this to his family. "It's very simple, Nara-san. Many of you are heirs and heiresses, making you guys very important to your clan and village. Civilians don't really know what's going on outside world, except hearing rumors from merchants or listen to what Konoha government said. Only experienced ninjas knows this." Kabuto shrugged his shoulders and continues. "So far, this war happened at the start of Second Shinobi War, and I learned about this a few years ago from my senpai." This shocked his underclassmen as they digested this new information. Heck, their academy teachers and their parents never told them about this. "Of course, we have the Otogakure, which is new and small. No one even knows anything about that village, and those guys are a mystery," he said, putting the cards away. 20 feet away from the Konoha teams, the sound nines heard everything that Kabuto said as they prepared to engage, attacking Kabuto. "You heard what he said about the Otogakure. He called us a mystery," Zaku said, flexing his hands. "I say, we teach him a lesson," Kin said, with a smirk on her face. "Yet time to clear up some of the mystery so that he can get updated information about why we are called Otogakure," Dosu added, as all 3 of them rushed towards Kabuto to teach him a lesson. Zaku throws kunai at Kabuto, which he dodged, but Dosu appears in front of him and throws his punch at him, missing Kabuto's face by few inches. Jumping backward, his glasses suddenly crack, causing his eyes to widen in realization. "Oh, I get it, so it was that kind of attack," he whispers. He then felt dizziness overcame him all of a sudden and throws up on the floor, shocking his underclassmen how he got hurt. "I saw he dodged that attack?" Sasuke thought, widening his eyes in surprise. Team Ronin flinch, hearing a sharp screech noise from their earpieces. "Damn it," Shizuka whispered, clutching her ear. "What the hell was that?" Haku winced and realized what happened. "I believe they used some kind of attack by using Soundwave. It's ironic how their village is called Otogekure." "Put your earpiece to lowest volume," Naruto commands, making both girls nod their heads. He sensed someone coming inside the room. Like he expected, a smoke appears as everyone sees a large, imposing man standing between Konoha and the sound genins. He glared at the sound nines. "The exam didn't start yet. Pull that shit one more time and your team is disqualified. Understand?" Making sound team nod their heads and went back to their previous spot. "My name is Ibiki Marino. I will be your examiner of your first round of the exam," he said with authority. 1 hour later. "You pass," Ibiki shouts at the remaining teams, causing many to develop confused looks. That was easy, Naruto thought. The first part of the exam was a written exam with 10 questions. Naruto and his team already knew the real objective of this exam, so they cheated by using their earpiece to communicate with each other without being found. Throughout the first exam, many teams got disqualified, either caught on cheating or too scared to continue. The remaining AIM teams are Team Siko, Team Oboro, and Team Shigure. Surprisingly, the rest of Konoha rookies passed the first round. Also they passed. He glimpsed at Team Kabuto, Team Dosu, Team Baki, and Team Shiror. Sensing someone coming in quickly, he took out a kunai under his sleeve and sees a purple-haired lady wearing a fishnet bodysuit and a tan overcoat covering most of her bare skin. Jumps through the window, sending shards of glass flying. A banner is placed behind the lady that read, "The second examiner, Anko Mitarashi." "I'm the second examiner, Anko Mitarashi," Anko yelled, throwing her fist in the air. "Not bad. Interesting choice of clothing. I will rate this 7 out of 10 foot," he thought, nodding his head. Hey, he dated Haku, Shizuka, and Ryuka 2 months ago, only hitting first base. Second base was too soon for him unless he wanted the full wrath of their parents, and he intends to avoid that at all costs. Most of the participants stared at the strange and loud examiner. Ibiki's eyebrows twitched in annoyance. "You came early, Anko," Ibiki said, making Anko's mood deflated. She counted the remaining participants and turned to Ibiki. "You let 29 team pass? I thought you could do better than that," Anko said, sounding upset. "There were a lot of excellent ones this year," Ibiki replied. "No matter. By the end of the second exam, I'll cut their numbers in half." Turning to remaining genins, "Go to the front desk at the first floor and ask the lady for directions to the next testing ground. Be there by tomorrow morning at 8. That's it." "Dismissed," Anko shouted, and the remaining genins celebrated for passing their first exam. Team Ronin made their way outside and accidentally bumped into Siko. "My apologies," Naruto said and walks away. "Watch where you're going," Shigure yelled, taking out an umbrella from his back. Siko put her hand up, stopping Shigure before he does something stupid. "Leave them alone. We got better things to do." "Got it, Siko-sama," he said, putting his umbrella away. Seeing nobody else around, Siko took out a note from her pocket, seeing it was Naruto who secretly put it in there. A small note that read, "Watch out for Team Shiror, Team Kabuto, and Team Baki." Burning the piece of note into ashes, she walked away with her team. Root chamber. "I see," Danzo mumbled to himself, hearing the report from Sai. "Your mission is to continue your observation on the Uchiha," he ordered. Sai nodded his head and disappeared. Based on Sai's report, there are foreign teams showing potential and they could be a threat to Konoha one day. Especially those AIM teams, Danzo mused. He snapped his finger, making 3 roots appear in front of him. "I want the 3 of you to eliminate the foreign participants, especially the ones from AIM, during the second part of the exam. Leave no evidence," he ordered. "Hi, Danzo-sama." His roots responded and disappeared. A few minutes later, Danzo narrowed his eyes, feeling a presence somewhere in the chamber. Reveal yourself or I will eliminate you, Danzo said, gripping his cane. He tapped his cane on the ground, resulting in dozens of his root appearing around him, preparing to protect their master. Kukuku, cautious as always, Shimura-san. A sinister voice echoed throughout the chamber. This caused Danzo to have frown on his face, not happy who the intruder is. How did he know about this place? Danzo thought, trying to figure out where the snake was. It's useless to try locate me. I came here to remind you not to forget our deal, a voice said. I know the deal, Orochimaru. You kill Hiruzen and you will get the Uchiha, Danzo said, while his roots tried to locate the intruder. Kukuku, remember the deal, Shimura-san, Orochimaru said, and his presence disappear. Damn that slippery snake. This place is compromised. Move to different chamber and leave no evidence behind, he orders, as his root starts to pack up their equipments and placing explosive tags around the chamber. Soon, I will become the Hokage. I will lead this village to greatness like I always wanted, he thought, going out as the sounds of explosions occurred inside the chamber. Training Ground 44 next day. Welcome to Training Ground 44. Hey, the Forest of Death, Anko yelled. Behind her, the sounds of creatures roared deep within the forest. Most of the genins shivered in fear while some has impassive looks. After listening to the rules, each team received a single scroll where they need to retrieve a different scroll from one of the other teams, by any means necessary, in order to pass this portion of the exam. A few minutes later, the gates opened up as teams made their way inside the forest. Team Ronin leaped across the forest trying to find another team with Heaven a scroll, SAP. Naruto closed his eyes and expanding his sensor ability to the maximum 1 mile, creating a mental map of his surroundings. In a few seconds, he could feel multiple chakra signatures throughout the forest, making him smirk. There is a team not too far away from us. I want both of you to take them out silently, while I act as a backup just in case. Our target is a low threat level, but take this seriously, he commanded. The three of them silently made their way deeper inside the forest. Unconscious, the team from Takigakure laid on the ground as Team Ronin retrieved a heaven scroll from them. Well, that was easy, Shizuka said, putting the scroll away. Just a little distraction. Right timing and bam, they never realized what hit them. True, we had element of surprise as our advantage. However, it's best to reach the tower ASAP, Haku said. Alright, we should head north, that's where the tower is at, and Naruto paused in mid-sentence, sensing a fight close by, and he can sense Siko's chakra in that fight. Hold up. I can sense Siko and her team fighting, and their opponent is Dash. He widened his eyes, sensing 3 NBU rank ninjas fighting. We need to help Team Siko. Right now. He and his team quickly made their way to help their ally. Team Siko, Tao and Aiko, work together against that opponent. While I handle 2 of them, Siko ordered, as her teammates went to different directions, including their opponent. Seeing them gone, she quickly blocked a kick from her right and jumped away, missing a sword aiming for her spine. I can tell these guys aren't pushovers, and based on their clothings and masks they are ANBU, she thought, landing on the ground. Not wanting to give her time to recover, both of them did their hand signs. Fire release, great fireball technique. Both root released flamethrowers at Siko. After a minute, both stopped their techniques as they waited for the smoke to disappear, giving them a clear view of the burned area. The first root made quick hand signal to tell his partner to check for the body. They believed a genin didn't have a chance to survive that attack. Seeing the signal, the second root stepped forward looking for the body to confirm their kill. But they didn't expect Siko to come out from the ground behind the first ANBU. She quickly stabbed him in his spine with her kunai. That's what you get for trying to stab me in my spine, fucker. Siko yells, putting more pressure on her kunai. This caused her opponent to scream in agony. She jumped away, avoiding another flame jutsu that ended up killing her injured opponent. Siko widened her eyes, seeing this. That person doesn't care for their partner's safety, she thought. Knowing her opponent is going to take this seriously, she tossed multiple smoke bombs on the ground, causing smoke to surround her opponent, and took out her katana. The root stood his ground, sensing that the girl's still there. He gripped his katana, waiting for the girl to make the first move. He would not fall for the same trick again. As the smoke dispersed, he saw his target wielding a beautiful purple katana. Looking closely at the katana, he can see a purple aura coming out from the blade. Not only did she hold this dangerous weapon, her aura became a lot more deadly. He shivered, feeling an ominous presence around her. Yet he continued to hold his ground. After I kill her, I will present this blade to Danzo-sama, he thought, taking out his own standard katana. Both fighters took their stance, waiting for one of them to make the first move. Not wanting to waste time, the root charged at his target as he put more chakra into his feet, boosting his speed. Siko, seeing this, also ran forward as she got closer to her opponent. As they got closer, the root swung his sword horizontally at Siko. However, Siko already predicted this as she used her knee protector, making her slide low, missing the strike and slicing through the side of his stomach, making him kneel down in pain. "Gh!" he shouted in pain, clutching the side of his bloody stomach. "I will kill you." Siko has small smirk on her face, causing him to pause. "You can't kill me if you're already dead," she said. "What?" Suddenly he clutched his throat, feeling intense burn and suffocation. "Poison," he thought in wide eyes, and slowly his vision turns dark. "Phew, glad that's done. I better get to my teammates," she said, putting her weapon away and went back to save her teammates. In few seconds, the deceased root body burst into flame, leaving only ash behind. Meanwhile, both Tao and Aiko were breathing deeply from complete exhaustion, and their bodies were covered with multiple injuries. So far, they tried their best to avoid battling with their opponent for the past couple of minutes. They knew their opponent is very experienced and strong, making it impossible for them to win this battle. So they had to wait until backup arrives. Gasp! Gasp! "I'm running low on chakra," Aiko, Tao whisper, doing her best to keep the genjutsu up as long as possible. "I know, we have to survive until Siko or the other AIM team arrives," Aiko whispered to her partner, seeing their opponent looking around with a sword in his hand. She knows that her opponent is just waiting until they are exhausted. "Bastard, he is just playing with us." She gritted her teeth in frustration. "I can only hold on for about 10 seconds longer." "I'm sorry," Tao said, tears building up in her eyes. "Is this how we are going to die?" Aiko thought, fear in her eyes. She saw the genjutsu around them drop, and the opponent calmly walks towards them with a sword in his hand. She can feel an evil grin behind that bastard's mask. Suddenly, a kunai landed between them, halting the root operative in his tracks. Looking up, they saw Team Ronin in the tree. "Take both of them while I handle this bastard," Naruto ordered. Taking out his black katana, "Why are Konoha and Bu attacking the participants during the middle of the Tunin exam? Don't you know the consequences of such actions?" he said, pointing his blade at the root Nin. Without answering his question, the root made a tiger hand seal, summoning a single shadow clone beside him. Naruto's eyes widened at seeing the technique. "Oh, so he can use shadow clone technique?" The enemy clone dashed forward with a katana in his hand. Seeing this, Naruto parried the attack with his own blade. He immediately kicked the clone away, causing it to disperse and block the surprise attack that came from behind. "You know, it's very obvious you were going for a back attack," Naruto said, pushing his opponent away. Putting some distance between his opponent, Naruto made one-handed seals at an impressive speed. Wind release. Vacuum bullets. Naruto releases several small blasts of wind chakra at his targets at rapid speed. The root widens his eyes in surprise seeing this technique and seeing the wind projectiles coming at him. He quickly used the body replacement technique, replacing himself with a piece of wood to avoid the attack, while a piece of wood shredded into pieces. Seeing he avoid the attack, he looks around to find that his opponent was nowhere to be sensed or even sensed. "He was here just a few seconds ago and I can't sense him," he thought, frantically looking around until he sensed a small presence to his right there. He stabbed his katana at his target. However, he didn't expect a wooden dummy with a small tag in the middle. "What the?" Suddenly, the tag explodes, releasing numerous amount of Kwani around, and worst of all, it was at point-blank range, making it impossible for him to dodge. After that happened, the enemy is on the ground with multiple kunai stuck to his body. He did protect his face and neck at the last second though. Coughing out globs of blood, he can feel intense pain throughout his body. Seeing his battered condition, he made a decision to escape and inform this to his master on a possible threat, even if he is executed for his failure. Trying to move his body, he was surprised that his body couldn't move at all. Naruto stepped out from behind one of the trees, hook, line and sinker. With the right strategy, there is a high chance of victory, he smirks, and cautiously walks to his enemy. Don't even try to escape, those Kwani were coated with a potent paralysis toxin, and it will take a few hours for the paralysis to wear off. Knowing he lost and was about to be interrogated, he decided to start Plan B. Biting his teeth hard, he broke a hidden poison capsule within one of his teeth. In seconds his mouth starts to foam, body shaking, and he dies right on that spot. Naruto, seeing this, clicked his teeth in annoyance. Damn. I knew this would happen, but I can use this body as evidence for breaking the international treat dash. He stopped, seeing the dead body burst into flame, quickly destroying the evidence. Never mind. I should check on them, leaving the area with the body flicker technique. 5 minutes later. Thank you for saving my teammates, Siko said, bowing to Team Ronin, while Aiko and Tao are being treated by Haku. No problem, Siko-san. That's what friends are for, Naruto said, with a smile on his face. Siko gave him a thankful smile for his assistance. Still, it's too bad we can't do anything without any evidence, and like hell I will allow any Yamanaka member to look inside my head. I have to point out they are similar to Konoha Anbu, except their mask is different, Naruto point out. Before we leave, do you guys have the other scroll with you? Siko nodded her head as she showed Naruto the 2 scrolls. Got it before we were attacked. That's good to hear. Do you want us to escort you there? He said, to which Siko nodded her head in acceptance. After patching up Siko's teammates, both teams jumped to the trees, heading straight to the tower. End of chapter. Omake Part 1. Sigh. What to do? Lady Kodo said in complete boredom, sitting in a chair viewing the beautiful landscape of her land as she quietly sipped some of her delicious green tea. Right now the council members are doing an excellent job keeping the village and land safe, while I'm bored out of my mind. While this was going on, her beautiful shrine maidens developed sweat drops seeing their goddess acting this way. She put her hand over her eyes, thinking about what to do. She unconsciously touched one of her eyelids, which happens to be her Rinna Sharingan. Few seconds later, Kodo instantly stood up, catching her shrine maidens completely by surprise. I just had an epiphany, she mumbles to herself. Girls, keep this place clean and inform the Uzukage I will be out for a while, she said to her shrine maidens. Hearing the words from their goddess, the shrine maidens bowed their heads, accepting her command, as you wish, Kodo-sama. Getting her belongings, she opened her Rinna Sharingan eye and channels enough chakra, opening up a portal. Time for some adventure, she smiles, walking inside the portal and closing after going inside. World number 1. In the middle of a forest somewhere in Japan, Kodo stumbled upon something that caught her eyes. This is weird, Kodo commented, seeing a group of people with black bat wings on their back surrounding a teenage girl with long, black hair, a voluptuous figure and hazel gold eyes with cat-like pupils. The girl wears black kimono with a yellow obi, a set of golden beads, and an ornately detailed headband. The interesting thing about this girl is that she has black cat ears and 2 black tails. However, the girl's current condition isn't great, as she looked battered and exhausted. This is the end of the road, stray. One of them yells, you have nowhere to run, but we will play with you first. This caused others to give out their cat calls, whistles and cheers. Hearing this, I will rather die, Nyan. The girl hisses at the group like a cornered cat. Kodo can see that the girl is putting up a brave act, but her eyes are filled with fear. In addition, Kodo can tell that this girl is innocent of her supposed crime and she doesn't like rapists. Time for me to act, Kodo thought, and teleported between the group. Both sides were surprised to see a beautiful woman, except both of her eyes are weird and has bunny ears on her head. Who are you? Are you her partner? The leader of the group said, taking out a sword in his hand. No matter, you will be arrested and executed for helping her. Get them. Like that, all of them starts to rush at Kodo and the girl. You guys are idiots for rushing, Kodo said, pointing her index finger at the group. All killing ash bones. She fires small projectiles of bones at the group with quick speed, hitting all of her targets. Wadash, just like that, all of them are reduced to pile of ash in seconds, leaving nothing behind. Seeing this, Kodo blows her finger fatality. She smirks and looks behind to see the girl with a look of awe on her face. What was that, Nyan? A girl stutter. Hell, she is very confused and scared of this unknown woman popping out of nowhere and save her. Her instinct is telling her not to anger her. That was one of my moves, and what is your name? Kodo said, putting on a friendly smile. Thank you for saving me. And my name is Kuroka, a Nakomata, or specifically a Nekishu race. Are you a devil Nyan? Kuroka said, tilting her head trying to sense this woman's power, but no success. Oh, if Matatabi-chan sees this, she will be very interested, Kodo thought. Nice to meet you, Kuroka-chan. My name is Kodo Otsutsuki Uzumaki. You can call me either Lady Kodo or just Kodo for short. I'm not what you call a devil. I'm kind of complicated, she said, not wanting to explain in full detail. Alright, so what do you want with me, Nyan? Kuroka asked. Oh, you know I'm very new around here. When I went to look for someone for information, I saw you in a bad spot and I helped you. I require your assistance to give me a tour and an explanation about how things work around here. In return, I will help you. Like taking out the two pieces inside of you, Kodo said. She did sense something dark inside of Kuroka. Kuroka was confused hearing how she was new around here, like she never knows where she was at. Sure, she can act as tour guide for this powerful woman, but the thing that caught her interest is how this woman can remove the two bishop pieces inside of her. The only reason she joined a peerage of a devil is to have financial support for her little sister after her parents' death. After she joined the peerage, she became stronger and stronger until her king became jealous of her power. One day, her king attempted to experiment on her sister, which led her to kill her king in order to protect her sister. But this made her into a stray devil a few years ago, and the rest is history. If by any chance she can remove those evil pieces that made her into a devil, her status as stray devil will disappear, meaning other devils will not be able to locate her presence, and she can easily hide from them. Although she will lose her demonic energy. Whatever, like she ever used her demonic energy anyway. That's impossible when evil pieces are placed, it's stuck there, and nobody has ever created a way for them to be removed, Nyan. Kuroka shook her head, informing her. Kodo raised one of her eyebrows hearing this. Oh, what are these evil pieces and what do they do? In order to explain what the evil piece system is, Kuroka explained everything about the three factions, the Great War, and the evil piece creation. After her explanation, Kodo narrowed her eyes, not liking how these devil enslave others in order to replenish their numbers after the Great War. It was like how Hyuga brand their branch members. Interesting, this is like Juinjutsu, although it's quite different, she mused. Kuroka-chan, nothing is impossible for me, and hold still while I take it out. It will be painless, trust me, Kodo said with warm smile. Kuroka was skeptical at first, but she knows this woman could have killed her earlier, although she did saved her from being raped then killed earlier. Slowly, she nodded her head, accepting her deal. Kodo can feel where the pieces were located. Snapping her finger, a small scroll appeared out of nowhere, making Kuroka gasp in shock seeing this. If my hypothesis is correct, evil pieces are attached to the host's soul, making it extremely dangerous to remove it without harming the host. However, this will be piece of cake since I did take out Azura's soul from Naruto without harming him. Kodo thought. She then channeled her chakra, causing Kuroka gasp in surprise, sensing chakra in the tip of her finger as she wrote complex symbols on Kuroka's stomach with great speed. Just this last part, any, Kodo said, satisfied, her masterpiece complete. Now for the magic word. She rapidly did 100 hand seals, making her hands blur rapidly. Even Kuroka couldn't keep track of her hand speed. Activate, her right hand starts to grow with white light where she thrust her hand inside Kuroka's stomach. Doing this, Kodo can see flashes of Kuroka's memories. Kuroka was about to scream in pain seeing Kodo's hand inside her stomach, but the pain never came. Looking at her stomach, she was really starting to freak out seeing this. It didn't take long when Kodo took out her hand holding two bishop pieces, and she sealed those inside her storage scroll, wanting to study those later on. See, nothing is impossible, Kodo smiles, seeing the host is unharmed. Kuroka has gobsmack on her face seeing this. Now would you be my tour guide? She stops, sensing multiple presences coming to this location. Their presence is like the devils she killed earlier. Looks like devil reinforcements are coming here, curious of their comrade's disappearance, and I will guess they will be here by 3 minutes. Looking at Kuroka, you should escape before they come. Next time give me a tour around here and good luck, she said, getting ready to leave this dimension. Hearing enemy reinforcements were coming, Kuroka decides to make her life-changing decision. "Wait, I want to come with you, Nyan," she said. Gaining Kodo's attention, I have nowhere to go. My little sister is being taken care of by nice people. And one day I want to apologize and explain to my little sister for my past action. Nyan. Putting both knees down, she placed her forehead on the ground. "Please take me with you," she cries in desperation. The last time she cried this much was when she abandoned Chiron on that dreadful day. Kodo was silent hearing her plea, and she is 100% sure she wasn't faking it. After a few seconds of internal debate, she made her choice. "Do you wish to have adventure with me? You won't return here for quite a while." Kuroka looks up at Kodo, relieved to hear her plea accepted. "Yes, if I can return here one day. I'm fine with that, Nyan," she said with happy smile. "Fine." Kodo opens up a portal behind her. "Follow me. Our adventure is just getting started." Both women went inside the portal and closes it, leaving no evidence of their existence. One day Kuroka would return to her world to fix her mistakes. Training ground 44 Tower. 2 hours later. Both Team Ronin and Team Siko made their way to the tower without encountering any hostile activity. Standing at the front entrance, Naruto stepped forward, taking out both scrolls and opened them at the same time to cause smoke to puff out. It was very easy for him to deduce that these scrolls summon a high-ranked Konoha shinobi, since Enko instructed everyone to open both scrolls at the tower. When a cloud of smoke dispersed, both teams saw a Konoha Tokubetsu Jonin wearing a pair of black sunglasses. "My name is Ebisu, and congratulations for passing." "Wait," Ebisu points at both teams. "Are you guys working together?" It was quite surprising to see two different teams working together. "Yes, we are. Can we go inside? I really want to enjoy a hot meal, hot bath, and a nice bed," Shizuka said impatiently. There weren't any rules about different teams working together as long as both fulfill the requisite to go to the next round. Of course, as long as the other team Siko took out the scrolls. "Never mind. Both of you may go inside. The next exam will commence 4 days from now. Take any spare room for your team to stay. There's a cafeteria if you guys are hungry, and don't start fights with the other teams," Ebisu informed the participants. Seeing them nod, he was about to leave until Haku raised her hand. "Before you go, can I ask you one question?" she asked. "Sure. Are we the first ones to arrive?" Haku asked, expecting a nod from him, but much to everyone's surprise, Ebisu shook his head. "I'm afraid not, as 30 minutes ago, a team from Suna came first," Ebisu said, and used a shunshin to transport himself away. "So that team made it. Everyone keep your eyes on him and watch your back," Naruto ordered to everyone, but he got a quick kiss on his cheek by Siko. "Thanks for your assistance, my hero." She giggled along with her teammates before walking to an empty room to rest. Seeing them leave, Naruto turned around and put his hands up in a placating gesture, seeing his female teammates giving him their glare. "Hey, she was the one who kissed me in surprise. Don't blame me," he said. This quickly made Haku and Shizuka lessen their glares, finding his argument to be valid. "Let's just go inside," Shizuka grumbled unhappily. For days later, everyone who passed the second stage was all lined up waiting for the next part of the exam to start. So far, Team Ronin, Team Siko, Team Baki, Team Dosu, Team 7, Team 8, Team 10, Team Kabuto, and Team Guy were the only teams that made it. Naruto sees Siko's teammates with a sad look on their faces, except for Siko, who was glaring daggers at Gaara. Did something happen between them? He wondered. Shifting his focus, he sees Sasuke clutching his neck, trying his best to ignore the pain, while the pink-haired girl looked at the Uchiha with worry on her face. "So that was the corrupted chakra I felt 3 days ago. I can see some type of mark, but I need to take a closer look to study it." Then he looked at the Konoha teams that passed the second stage. Was it a coincidence for all clan heirs and heiresses to pass? Then Naruto looked up, seeing several Jonin watching their students with pride. However, Naruto was focusing on a specific Jonin from Otogekure. "I knew it. It's the same chakra signature from that member of Team Shiror. But who is it?" Returning his focus, everyone saw Anko and third Hokage standing in front of them. "Congratulations on passing the second phase of the Chunin exam," Anko said. We will now provide an explanation on the third phase of the Chunin exam from our Hokage. The elderly third Hokage walked forward and blew smoke from his pipe. Then he began to explain the true purpose of the exam and how it helps maintain good relationships with other nations. Hearing this explanation, Team Ronin and Team Siko frowned. How can this create good relationships with other nations by hurting and killing each other? Though they kept their mouths shut. For many participants, especially Konoha's genins, they believed their leader's words to their hearts. I don't care, Gaara said with an impatient tone. Tell us the details of this life or death exam. Then I will begin the explanation of the third exam, but before Hiruzen was about to continue, one of his ninja who was standing behind him stepped forward and knelt in front of him. Excuse me, Lord Hokage, a ninja said. I, Heiate Gecko, the proctor of the third exam, will explain from here. Please do, Hiruzen said, not sounding bothered for being interrupted. Heiate looked at the participants. Everyone, before the third phase of the exam starts, cough cough, there's something I want you to do. We will commence preliminary matches to see who gets to advance to the third phase's main fight. This earned a look of confusion from most of Konoha genins, while some foreign teams knew what he was talking about. It only took seconds for them to realize what the proctor meant, and this caused many genins to shout out in disbelief. Preliminary match? Sakura questioned with a shocked look. Preliminary match? What do you mean? Shikamaru shouted, showing anger and surprise. His team had arrived a few hours ago. They were hurt, exhausted, and hungry. For crying out loud, can't they just stop bickering? It's obvious they didn't expect these many participants to pass. Naruto rolled his eyes but kept quiet. Looking at his team, he sees them with bored looks on their faces. As Sakura questioned the proctor, he listened to Heiate's explanation, which only confirmed his suspicions. We cannot afford to have a lot of matches during the third phase, and we are on limited time. Oh well, this is how it goes, Heiate explained to the participants before having another coughing fit. Giving out his final cough, he continued his announcement. Now if anyone wants to quit before we start the match, then please raise your hand and let me know. The match will begin immediately afterward. While this was going on, Naruto used his enhanced hearing to eavesdrop on what the third Hokage, Ibiki, and Anko were talking about. Just as I thought, Orochimaru has marked Sasuke, Hiruzen mumbled with a frown on his face. Orochimaru. Naruto's eyes widened, surprised to hear of one of Konoha's most infamous missing nin. Suddenly he remembered sensing Kage-level chakra on one of the participants days ago, and now he is in this room disguising himself as the Oto Jonin, meaning the snake is the leader of Otogekure and had infiltrated Konoha to get Sasuke, or more specifically his Sharingan. Why mark him when he had gotten the chance to kill him and take his eyes? Unless he wants his body. Of course, he wears people's bodies and sheds them when he is done with it. I should inform this to my teammates, Siko's team, and council later. We should take him out of the exams and isolate him with ANBU escorts, Anko suggested while eyeing the Uchiha. We need to advise him to withdraw immediately and… She was saying only to be interrupted by Kakashi. He will not listen to you that easily, Anko-san. He is a member of the Uchiha clan after all. Kakashi steps forward with his eye smile. Don't fool around. I'll make him quit even if I have to use force, she shouted him. The cursed seal reacts when he tries to mold chakra, so it will try to extract power out of him should he get pressured. Naruto narrowed his eyes, discovering the new information. Cursed seal. Keep talking. It's a forbidden technique that affects the person's mind. I'm surprised he survived that. A normal person would be dead in under a minute. Facing Kakashi, she glared at him. For your information, Kakashi, he will take advantage of the cursed seal to achieve killing Itachi, and one day he will seek Orochimaru for power. This made Kakashi give Anko his stern look, not liking what she said. He is my student, not yours, Kakashi responded. Seeing that he didn't believe her, she looks at Hiruzen. What is your decision, Hokage-sama? Anko said, internally hoping for him to agree with her. However, he shook his head. I'm sorry, Anko-san. Sasuke is a member of Team 7, and it is Kakashi's responsibility to watch over him. This made Anko grit her teeth in frustration and begrudgingly nod her head, accepting her leader's command. Are they stupid? Why let the Uchiha participate in the exam? It's clear the snake wants this to happen as he is now observing him, he thought. Taking a peek, he sees disguised Orochimaru secretly eyeing Sasuke like an exotic delicacy just waiting to be consumed. Finding the snake pedophile was here. Naruto didn't inform this to Konoha, not wanting to get their attention towards him, and it was Konoha's problem to deal with. Suddenly, one of Konoha genin raised his hand, catching everyone's attention. It was Kabuto Yakushi. Proctor-san, I'll quit. This caused some of the genins to whisper, seeing him quit. Hayate flipped a sheet of paper, seeing the name of that participant. Cough cough. Are you Kabuto Yakushi, huh? You may leave then. Kabuto-san, why are you quitting? Sakura asked. Facing her, he explained his reason to quit. I'm sorry, Sakura-san, but my body has completely worn out already and I don't think I can pass the preliminary. Many accepted his explanation. But his explanation didn't fool Naruto, Haku, Shizuka, and Siko, as they know his chakra reserves are full and he has no signs of severe injuries. Somehow, rest of Konohanins and even their Hokage didn't find this suspicious, as they are more focused on Orochimaru and Sasuke. What are you hiding for eyes? Naruto narrows his eyes and notices Siko staring at him, trying to study him. Seeing Kabuto slowly walking past his teammates, Naruto eavesdrop again, finding him suspicious. Don't act on your own, Yoroi Akato whispers. Did you forget Orochimaru-sama's orders? Jackpot. Naruto smirks behind his face mask and ends his eavesdropping, getting the info he wanted to hear. Then he saw both Siko's teammates, Aiko and Tao, raise their hands, showing they were quitting. Team Ronin looks at Siko as she slightly shook her head to explain them later. Does anyone else want a forfeit? Then we will commence the first preliminary match, Hayate said, and explains the rule of the match. Cough. The electronic bulletin board behind me will randomly display the names of 2 fighters for each match. I will now display the names of the first match. Hayate announced as bulletin board put on fighters' names. Siko versus Sasuke Uchiha. This will be an interesting fight, Naruto mused, wanting to see Siko's fighting skill. Haku and Shizuka had the same idea. Right off the bat, I will finish this quickly, Sasuke smirked, feeling confident he can defeat his opponent, and if he has difficulty he can use the power he received earlier to further test it. Feeling the power coming from the cursed seal of heaven a few days ago, he liked the feeling of power flowing through him and he wants to feel it again. This power is what he needed to achieve his goal and nothing will stop him. Hearing this from Sasuke, Siko rolled her eyes, but that didn't mean she would let her guard down. Earlier she sensed something dark and corrupted within Sasuke, and she would have to finish this match ASAP. When the other participants went to the second floor, Naruto passed by her as he quickly whispered only for her to hear. Watch out! Orochimaru gave the Uchiha a corrupted seal. Naruto whispered to her and purposely bumped into her. My bad. Seeing what he was doing, she played along. Watch where you're going, idiot! She snarled at him and walked away. While this was going on, Kakashi explained to Sasuke that he can't use the cursed seal of heaven unless he wants to be disqualified. This made Sasuke scowl, not liking this. This meant he can't use any of his chakra, and the Sharingan that he unlocked when he fought against Kusanine a few days ago. Seeing the rest of the participants on the second floor and the 2 fighters in the arena, Hayate decided to start the first match. The only rules is that, cough, when I say the match is over, it's over. Cough, also no endangering the audience. Cough, fighters ready? Hayate asked. Siko and Sasuke nodded. First match, begin. He jumped away to a safe distance. Sasuke rushed ahead as he threw multiple punches and kicks at Siko. However, Siko blocked all of his attacks with complete ease, much to Sasuke's surprise. TCH, she is pretty good, Sasuke thought with a scowl on his face. Jumping back, he threw a handful of his shuriken at her, which she evaded all of them. Siko threw her smoke bomb on the ground, causing smoke to rise around her. This would have been perfect for a fire release. Great fireball technique, Sasuke frowns as he waited for his opponent to come out. Sensing a shake from the ground below, he quickly jumped away as Siko attempted to grab his ankle. Sasuke recognized the double suicide decapitation technique which Kakashi used on him during the bell test. Siko seeing him jump away, she then threw a senbon at him, hitting him in the right shoulder. He grunts, feeling a jab by a senbon. He immediately took it out and threw it away, not noticing a small smirk on Siko's face. Up on the second floor, many experienced ninjas narrowed their eyes, seeing her using only a single senbon. Team Ronin knows exactly what she is doing as they hid their amusement. Oh, if I have to guess, she just poisoned him with Aim's poison. That is mean, Shizuka whispered with amusement as Haku nodded her head. Not only do Aim ninjas specialize in the art of poison, they also specialize in torture, where even their enemies who are trained specifically to resist torture will beg to die as they couldn't cope with the intense pain. Overall, Siko already won this battle when she hit the target that was coated with a weak poison. The victim will first feel an intense pain for 30 minutes, like they are being stabbed multiple times throughout their body. Then the victim will feel extreme dizziness and muscle weakness at the same time. Sometimes victims can become unconscious. Poison from Aim is very dangerous. Even a weak one can have veteran ninja crying out in pain for over an hour. The effect will kick in right about now, Siko thought while avoiding her opponent's attacks with complete ease and jumped back to see the effect. Just like she predicted, Sasuke stopped his attacks, feeling a stabbing sensation throughout his body. Immediately he went down on the ground as he tried to hold back his scream of pain, but it was too much for him to bear, where he opened his mouth and screamed in pain. Ah! He rolled around in pain, then he felt a sudden dizziness and muscle weakness, making his vision blurry. Not wanting to wait for any longer, she went behind him and quickly karate chopped back of his neck, knocking him out. Winner, Siko Hayate said before medic Nines ran towards Sasuke. Sasuke-kun! Ino and Sakura screamed out in a panic, seeing their beloved in pain and losing the match against that bitch. Some Konoha rookies were either nervous or in surprise, seeing that one of their top fighters lost the match with complete ease. Many of Konoha's high-ranking ninjas, especially Hiruzen and Kakashi, had frown on their faces, not expecting their last loyal Uchiha to lose in preliminaries. This will cause their village to lose standing with potential clients and partners if one of their top fighters to lose this early. This was not good at all, and they hoped other Konoha genins will win their match. If not, it will be humiliating for the host of not to have their participants by finals. Orochimaru, who is disguised, has a scowl on his face, seeing Uchiha lose his match. Quickly his scowl is replaced with a smirk, sensing a familiar chakra coming out from Sasuke. Kukuku. Let's see how Sasuke-kun uses my gift. He leaned forward, wanting to get a better view. Before Siko was about to leave, she suddenly stopped, sensing something dark behind her. Looking back, she sees Sasuke conscious as he shakily stands up and pushes medic Nines out of his way. Clutching his neck, Siko and others felt a corrupted power flowing from him and black markings that slowly spread throughout his body. Konoha Jonins was about to stop this match until Sandaime put his hands up, halting them. Hokage-sama. He's using the cursed seal of heaven. We need to stop this match and restrain him, Anko said, fully prepared to knock the Uchiha brat. She knew it was a bad idea to let him fight with that cursed mark. Hiruzen shook his head. Wait, Anko. I want to see if Sasuke-kun can suppress it. If he fails to suppress it for 2 minutes, Kakashi will stop him and he will be disqualified. Making Anko nod. However, he had another reason for Sasuke to use the curse mark, as he wants to see the side effect what his traitorous student's curse mark can do. Sure, Anko had it, but she lacks the will to use it, making it useless. As black marks spread half of Sasuke's body, he sprints towards Siko with a crazed smile on his face, feeling the rush of power throughout his body. This is what I need this power to kill Itachi. But first I need to test this against her, he thought, running towards her. Siko quickly tosses another smoke bomb on the ground as she hides within the smokescreen. Sasuke, seeing this, quickly channeled his corrupted chakra as he made his hand seals fire release. Great fireball technique, launching a big ball of flames at the smokescreen from his mouth. Boom! As the smoke cleared, everyone sees a crater, but they didn't see a body. Seeing his opponent survive, he looks around trying to find her until he sees her coming out from a hole away from the crater. She hides in the ground. Tisach, what a pest, Sasuke snarled. Sprinting again, he was about to continue his attack until he felt a hard kick in the back of his head, making his face to smack on the ground. What hit me? Getting up, he sees his opponent in front of him turn into a puddle of water. Turning around, he sees another Siko delivering a powerful punch, hitting his face, launching him few feet away. Quickly she grabs one of his feet as she used her pure strength to raise his body and smack his body on the concrete floor, causing cracks to form around. This resulted in Sasuke to be unconscious again as the black marks recede back to the seal. Ouch, that gotta hurt. Naruto mentally winced, having flashbacks from his torturous training with his mom and sensei. Not only did she use the smokescreen to hide, she went underground and made a water clone of herself. After the attack, she let the copy to come out as a bait while the real one waited for the sneak attack. Haku said, seeing and analyzing Siko's strategy. Well, we got to see the power of Cursed Mark, and I have to say he received a short boost of power, but what is the negative side effect? Shizuka said, knowing there is always a price to pay for receiving a corrupted power. Seeing the outcome, Hayate raised his hand. Again, the victor is Siko. Medic Means and Kakashi appeared and took Sasuke away, while Konoha participants had a surprised look on their faces seeing Sasuke lose again with the power up. Well, she won again without any difficulty, Naruto comment, earning nods from his teammates. But I'm suspicious why Hokage didn't stop the match? Was it for them to use this excuse for Uchiha to win the match or witness the power of corrupted Senjutsu chakra? He narrowed his eyes, secretly staring at the Hokage and other high-ranking jonin. Orochimaru clicks his tongue in annoyance that Uchiha didn't win even using the Juinjutsu he gave him, but seeing him access to the power made it a success. This is annoying. I thought he will win this match. Seeing Kakashi and Medic Means taking his target away, he secretly leaves the arena going towards the infirmary, leaving Team Dosu behind. A few minutes later, Hayate announces the next match. I am going to skip the canon matches except make changes on the match. Shikamaru Nara vs Temari. Winner, Temari. Temari won because Shikamaru didn't have any strategy to counter her attack and trap her without analyzing her fighting style first. Choji Akimichi vs Dosu Kinyuta. Winner, Dosu Kinyuta. Sakura vs Ino. A double knockout, neither advanced. Kankuro vs Misumi Tsurugi. Winner, Kankuro. Lee vs Gaara. Winner, Gaara. Kintsuchi vs Shino Aburame. Winner, Shino. Shino used his bug to drain Kin's chakra until she ended up exhausted. Kiba Inuzuka vs Zaku Abumi. Winner, Zaku. Zaku, who only has one functional arm, won his match by using decapitating airwaves when Kiba and Akamaru charged towards him, thinking their match is an easy win. Zaku used this technique, blasting both of them, hitting the concrete wall, making them unconscious. Sai and Yoroi Akato. Winner, Yoroi. Before the match started, Sai gave up for unknown reason, making his allies confused. This isn't looking good for us, Hayate clicked his tongue, seeing only 2 Konoha participants won their match. Looking back, he sees his comrades have disappointed look on their faces, including Sandame, who has disappointed look on his face and slowly smoking his pipe. Oh crap, even Hokage-sama looks frustrated. Clearing his throat, he went to announce the next match as the board revealed participants' names. Shizuka vs Tenten. Cough, will both participants come to the arena? Hayate said as both Kunoichi appeared. You know the rules, cough. 10th match will commence. He then jumps away. Back at the second floor, Guy, who came back from infirmary after dropping off Lee, starts to encourage his student by shouting out youth, as Kakashi ignore his comrade and focus on the match. For Naruto and Haku, they smirk, knowing who will win this match. Tenten made the first move as she took out a single scroll. She opened it, bite her thumb and swipe it on the scroll. Poof. Everyone sees her wielding a regular tanto on one hand and 4 kunai on another hand. Quickly she threw all of her kunai at her opponent as she charged, ready to strike her down. But she sees her opponent quickly do the same thing as her. She knows Fuinjutsu? She thought in surprise, not expecting her opponent to know Fuinjutsu. Shizuka channeled small amount of chakra in the scroll as regular katana appeared in her right hand. She then cut all of the kunai in pieces with impressive precision and speed. Then she blocks an attack from her opponent as both clashed their weapons. Tenten gritted her teeth, seeing her attack had failed. She then tried to add pressure on her blade to overcome her opponent, yet she couldn't overpower her. Meanwhile, Shizuka adds pressure onto her weapon, causing cracks to form on her opponent's tanto. Seeing her weapon cracking, Tenten jumps away, putting a distance from Shizuka. That didn't go well, Tenten thought. Then she glanced at her chipped weapon. Damn. This tanto was expensive, gritting her teeth. Tenten decided to finish this match ASAP before the situation gets worse. Running around her opponent in a circle, Tenten jumps high in the air as she took out a storage scroll and performed acrobatic maneuvers. Is she seriously doing ballet? Shizuka thought, looking at her opponent with a bored look on her face. I saw at least 6 openings. Sigh. This is boring. Well timed to finish this. Gripping her weapon, she jumped up in the air at high speed, appearing right in front of Tenten. Tenten's eyes widen in surprise, seeing her opponent disappear and reappear in front of her instantaneously. Before she tried to attack, her scroll was cut in half and was punched in the gut as she gasps in pain. Then she felt a heavy kick on her back, making her go straight down to concrete floor, resulting a decent-sized crater to form and dust clouds. Back to the audience. Guy's face went worried seeing Tenten being beaten. Earlier he almost lost one of his students from Tunin, and he hoped she isn't in critical condition. If things go bad, he will stop this match again to save his student, not caring the repercussions. Hiruzen and rest of Jonin's knew Tenten lost this match as they seen how powerful Shizuka is. They cannot conclude the rank of her skill and wonder if rest of Team Ronin are strong. Hiruzen narrowed his eyes looking at foreign teams, especially Team Ronin, Team Seiko, and Team Baki. They are not displaying Genin-level skills. No, some of them are displaying Chunin or maybe Jonin skills. He exhales the smoke from his pipe as he continues his observation. The Konoha Genins couldn't believe how fast Tenten's opponent was. The only thing they witnessed was a blur. Landing on the ground, Shizuka waited for the dust to cease to see if her opponent can continue the fight. As the dust cleared away, everyone could see the unconscious Tenten on the floor. Seeing this, Shizuka walked away knowing she won her match. Then Hay-8 appeared, seeing the match over. Winner Shizuka. As the medic means took Tenten away to the infirmary. Without wasting time, he announced the next match. Haku vs Hinata Hyuga.